go on. We
We remember. What
remember
is
all the times we had together.
this? You're
Hey,
so
y'all.
stinking cute with your crown on.
Stop it. I had to surprise him with a bet.
Hey,
For the
hey.
end of season 6, I needed my crown. I turned 30 throughout this process. We both did.
I'm like, why do you have a crown on? I mean, it doesn't really matter. You look great.
I don't know. I thought about it the other day, like I should wear my crown for a portion, and then I just kept
Yeah.
it here, and I was just like, I'm just gonna be dumb and put
Do
it on in the
it. I
beginning.
love it.
I can't keep it on though because it low key hurts, but
Yeah, that thing is heavy.
it is, and it's like metal. But thanks, G. I love it. Hey y'all, welcome back to the
Hey,
Shade of It
y'all.
All.
Welcome back. I was before your song, I was gonna hit them with a little HOTTOGO.
OGO. You got to be
You
quick. If you
can't
want the
take me
song in the
high to
intro,
go.
you got to be quick.
I gotta go.
You got to
I was gonna
go.
say, Brandon, do you like this beat? I made it so you dance with me. It's like 199 degrees when you're doing it with me, doing
All right, y'all.
it.
Episode's over. Bye.
And that is, with that being said,
Don't do that. Don't play me. Uh, hey,
I
y'all.
got 3 compliments on my water bottle today, Brandon.
From who?
Coworkers. I took it to
Oh,
work for the first time today.
oh, I love that.
Well, because it was like I washed it and put it in my dishwasher and didn't realize it was in there for like a month.
Oh, yeah. She accused me of stealing it. And I was
I
like,
was like,
why
"Did you
would I
take it from
steal
me?"
the gift I gave you?
And then you're like, "I haven't even seen you."
But
Like Brandon, Obi
sure,
doesn't know where it is. Surely you do.
you must. Uh,
Hey y'all,
hey, I'm Brandon.
I'm Magdala.
And we're going to be diving into this Love is Blind USA season 6 reunion.
You said love is blind, silly
Oh my
Billy.
God, I did. Love Island
He's got
USA season 6
season 6
reunion. It's
reunion.
Maggie's fault. She randomly brought up Love is Blind before we started recording. She tricked
No,
me.
didn't I call it Love is Blind last week or last time we recorded?
I
I've
think
done
you
that
did.
too.
We're just fucking up. But
Fine.
y'all, this reunion, it could have been
Let's.
an email.
Well, it already was not us discussing things that have already been discussed.
It just
Well,
okay.
mostly. It was like 2%, 25% new information, 75% recap of old information.
Yeah, and then it was like focusing on things that we once cared about, but now we don't care about.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's kind of us viewers' fault for caring about it. Like the fire pit
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was definitely sitting here saying, show the whole clip. And then I saw how long it was, and I was like,
I was like,
mm.
I mean, who even
I mean,
cares
it
at this
wasn't.
point?
You know what? I'm not even mad at it. Like, yeah, show the whole clip, but like, you didn't even break it down, really. Y'all showed a 10-minute, it felt like 5 to 10 minute clip, and then broke it down, had the cast talk about it for maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah. It just felt like they all were over. Honestly, it felt like half this cast was traumatized. And they
It felt like
didn't want
half
to
of them
say
were
anything because, like, social media.
I definitely felt that. It was very quiet, Brandon. Did you peep? I was
It
like, why
was.
is it so damn quiet? So when PPG is like laughing and stuff, it feels so insensitive because it's like hella quiet. But then it also made me think like, yo, they look tired. Kordell fell asleep. I
He
saw
did.
his ass sleeping a couple times. And then Hakeem looked like he was asleep. And then they gave them popcorn to eat while on set, which makes me think they were there for a long time. Like,
They were. I heard too that the reunion didn't actually take hours to film, that that was like a lie. Like, as far as like,
so
because they were like, oh, it was postponed or it took long to start because of Kaylor and Aaron. But
Yeah.
apparently that's not true. Kaylor said, I think on Chicks in the Office, that's not true.
I mean, what was the point of even saying that? I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Everybody just looked tired. Honestly, you flew Coy, Harrison, Hakeem, I don't think said anything other than like, I'm
No.
glad we're boys
No, I don't
when
even
the
think he
boys were
said
in
that.
the
I think that
room.
was Con. Oh, maybe he did in the room. Maybe he
They
did.
all said, I think, something.
The
Um,
Pizza Hut boxes were louder than half the cast.
and that pizza looked cold. I saw Rob take a bite of pizza and he just looked down like he regretted
Rob's
it.
funny. He that and then when it was like Cassie, Cassidy, and Nigel looked straight in the camera like, I wish I could bring these wings to the stage. And then Cassie's like, oh my gosh, I love this. And just like eating it. I'm like, can we not? Why were y'all invited?
Literally.
This is
I
too much.
mean, no, they have to. I get why people are saying that because it's like, why did you invite them to not talk about it? That's the thing. I don't think it was that they shouldn't have been invited. It's like, if you're going to invite them, then create a discussion where everyone's talking. I'm sure everyone did talk. This editing was whack. And I saw through a lot of it. I was like, this portion right here don't seem natural. Outside of the Kendall and Nicole discussion, all of the other conversations I feel were chopped and screwed.
Oh yeah, and there's a moment where there was clear editing that I'll kind of call someone out on because they went
Mm-hmm.
on TikTok live talking mess. And so I
All right.
we'll get to it. But yeah, I was telling you I was like this should have been if they were going to just do this, it should have just been fewer people because if you're not going to let them talk, then like why are they there? And
Right.
then because half of the like there was like 5 minutes spent on giving introductions. And then it's like, but if you are gonna have these like people, it should be multiple parts. There was
Yeah.
someone I saw online, they were like, for Love Island, this is an amazing reunion. Like it's not like Bravo. And I'm like, well, maybe it should be like Bravo because there's a
Yeah.
lot we need to know. And
I
like
mean,
we barely
I
talked to Kordell and Serena and they won.
that part. We barely heard from Miguel. They were runners up. We
Yeah.
spent more time on Rob, Leah, and Andrea instead of like Leah and Miguel. I mean, I get it. There's no tea to spill, but like, had you made it two parts, we could have heard from everyone because you would have had time to include their contributions. And then, we could hear you kind of talk more to the couples that, yeah, that won. I
Yeah.
think that's valid too. Like,
It they were
oh,
just Love is love. I almost said Love is Blind. Love Island. Let us talk real quick. Let
let
me
us
tell you
have a
what should.
conversation.
Also, okay, the seating, stupid. Why? Okay, Ariana in the middle. Why is she down below? And so every time Rob talks, she has to like break her neck
To turn
just to like hear him.
around.
She had to be like, watch what Krappen said
Yeah.
this too. And I'm like, I'm so glad I wasn't the only one who noticed.
But
Why
they
did they have
can't
her like in the middle, but like and the bottom. They
low
should have had her like up high.
that part. I was, yeah, because I understand why they have two rows. There's too many people.
Hmm.
But yeah, stagger it better.
It was
I mean, they
just they had time
they
and
did
they
have
didn't
time,
utilize
but
it.
the way it's cut up is like they didn't. And then while I was listening, I was like, there's no background music. Like none.
Oh yeah.
Only when it comes in and then it's just dead quiet. Cause I'm like, why does it sound so freaking quiet? Cause the silence makes me think that nobody's talking, which I know isn't true. Like,
Yeah,
it was just weird, man. It was weird. But yeah, the reunion was mid.
it
I
was.
literally the beginning had me on my toes. And at the end, I was like, that's it. So
Right?
I
I was
want,
like, there's so much more to talk about.
yeah. Brandon, while we do this, I want your immediate reaction and then I want your reaction after thinking things through because
Oh, I
it was
have that
funny.
about a lot.
I was in the bathroom doing my hair while I'm watching. So I'm watching on my phone. And there's just one moment where I start screaming. And Obi's like, What? What? Are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm watching TV. But I was just like, the gall, the unmitigated gall of it all.
I think I know which part you're
Um,
referring to.
Gagged. Some people have no chill.
You weren't honest. You weren't honest. You weren't.
Brennan, I'm just really upset because you know it's bad because I actually low key like I don't necessarily agree with her, but I understand her mindset. It's terrible. Homegirl needs therapy, but um so I can't make fun of her too much because
We'll
I
get to it
after listening
because
to
there's parts where I'm like, I see what you're saying, but you are going about this in such a wrong way.
yes, sir, that part. It's like great message, wrong place, wrong time. And then after listening to the Viall Files, I was just like, ooh, sis, you've got some problems, and it's probably good y'all aren't together.
That part. Okay, let's dive into this real quick because that kind of was like
Dive
in the
in.
beginning. Let me
Mm-hmm.
dive in. Isn't that a song? I don't know. Anyways.
I think so.
Well, first it starts, they're all getting like pictures taken, the fans.
They're walking down the red
Lady
uh
Diana, Lady Diana. It's like,
real.
okay.
And Kaylor's like, guys, I can't wait to I
I
need it.
Kaylor's
I'm
just
not
like,
crying
I
today.
am done with Aaron. I'm so done with Aaron. I can't do this. I'm done. Her
What is
fucking
that? What is the water bottle? Her
her
bun?
hair. Who put all that hair on her? It
Oh,
was too much.
see, I made the mistake of watching it on my phone. I watched it and rewatched it both times on my phone. Depth perception is skewed there.
The style was fine. It was like up, down, ponytail, hair.
Yeah.
But the ponytail went like it was like so like it's like a clothes
I
hanger.
I'm dead. I liked her hair.
I mean, from the front,
I didn't Brandon. I was telling Brandon, everyone's face kind of looked distorted. I was like, what is this lighting? This is not the Villa lighting.
it was like weird lighting. They had like a shiny
Mm-hmm.
filter, intense makeup. There was a lot going on. But
Mm-hmm.
when they get to the stage, first they just have the cast minus the final four couples. Don't understand the point of that because they didn't really talk about anything. So what are
Right.
we
They're just
doing?
like, hi, Aaron. Hi, Ariana. Hi,
Ariana.
Kaylor. Hi, Ariana. It's like, what do we don't need to do this. I did think it was cute at the beginning. They said, it's time for our big one.
That was. But yeah, they were just asking like fluff questions, and then Aaron was like, "I was never to see everyone, but now it's really good. I think it's great." And I was just like, "Just wait, because
Yeah, I was
your
like,
time's
say that.
coming."
Ask him again at the end.
And then Ariana going like, "Andrea, how you doing?" I was like, "Yes." That was funny. And Andrea was a good sport. She did her finger gun back, so it was
She's
funny.
like, I would get up and spin, but I'm wearing a dress. I was like, okay, Andrea, own it. Own
What
it. When
what
you
did you
own it, it's a
think?
lot better.
That's true. What did you think about Hannah saying the most surprised she was how much hate she was getting for her makeup? I was thinking about this in the car, and I was
Tell
like,
me.
I refuse to feel bad.
I saw something. Oh, Brandon. I saw something on Twitter where somebody was just like, not Hannah thinking we were bullying her. We were just trying to help you, sis.
That part, it's like, Hannah, and we said it, you're beautiful. We saw you
Yes.
without makeup. It's the way you do your makeup that's
Mm-hmm.
bad. That can change, and that's why I don't feel bad. That can change. I'm sorry if you didn't look at yourself afterwards and see that. And I feel like you did because your makeup looks better at the reunion. It's still a lot, but it's better.
I don't understand why it's so much lighter than she is.
That's the thing. And it's
In
just
the
so much. She
it's
doesn't
like
have
a
bad skin.
T.
I don't know what she's trying to cover.
She's got great skin. It's like a T, and it's just like super white, basically. Then her contour is dark, but the it's like sis, looking at your neck to your face, it's like we got a couple shades here. Like
It's just bad.
it
Like
did
it
look
is what
better,
it
but it
is.
didn't look great. We weren't trying to hurt you, sis. We was just saying that I don't think your makeup's supposed to come off when people kiss you.
It's not, but at the end of the day, you still know you're a bad bitch. So that's all
Yeah. I've
that's good
never
at
been
least.
with a baddie.
Is it nitty yaddy? Is that the words?
I've never been with a baddie.
It didn't come
I
with
ain't
a
never
bit.
been with a baddie. She comes, so I added to the tally.
Tally.
Yes.
Then bring that
You're
Addy.
so
Ah,
stinking cute, Brandon.
stop it. I need
Stop being so adorable.
I can't. Oh my God.
He
Uh
said tally.
so after
Smiling ear to ear.
Tally. After Hannah is sad about her makeup, the final four couples are introduced. Don't know why they weren't just there, but whatever. Um, I liked Ariana and Leah's horse conversation. That was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Where she's like, I'm a horse
Yeah.
girl too. And she's like, Ariana, I commented on one of your pictures because you're too cool for me. And she's like, bitch, I've been here.
I've been busy, bitch.
Do you not see him on Broadway?
Can we just see how Leah literally gets along with everyone?
She
Like
does.
Leo energy, it's effortless.
Hmm.
Off the dome, she is so stinking charming. I
She is.
can't.
I
Like,
can't
go
either. She's
off,
great.
queen. She is. You make you and it makes me feel like she knows Ariana. Every interview I've seen, they click right away because Leah is so amazing.
Period. Kordell did get his Cheez-Its deal.
He
So
did.
that was funny. And
Did you
him and
see
Serena are now official. Woo.
they are and he kind of talked about the date or how he popped the question. I was like, not y'all getting married.
I know, right?
Yeah, I guess I'm a little confused because I saw a video on Instagram of him making his Cheez-It mixture, and I thought it was just 3 boxes of Cheez-Its that they mixed together. But then he said that it sold out right away. So I was like, did they combine it already? I don't know. He's selling something
Maybe.
with Cheez-Its, and it did really well.
And that's all we can ask for,
He's on his money, getting his money up, saving up for that wedding.
right? They do show a season montage, and I liked it a lot. I thought it was lit.
Yeah.
Um, Janae and Kenny talk, and Ariana's like, I hear you got news, and she's like, we're pregnant. And I was like, oh shit, Janae. But no, they're just official.
And everybody's like, because she couldn't let it. She's like, we're pregnant.
And then
And
all of a
just
sudden,
paused for a
I
little
just want to
bit.
say, Janae and Kenny, I'm so sorry. I was on live with Daya, and I said that your relationship was fake, and that was my bad. I shouldn't have done that. So I do want to apologize. Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah, thanks.
Janae was looking at him like, because she
She
wanted to go
was.
off on him. She was saying in
Yeah.
interviews, she's like, Koi's on my hit list. And I'm like,
Yeah. I feel like
period.
it's funny. I feel like she had probably more to say and didn't. I didn't know he did that. Did you?
Yeah, but it was like stupid. I was like,
Yeah.
he was just like, of course I don't think it's real. And it was so
Mm,
random. And I was like,
yeah.
okay.
I
Anyways,
mean, he got ahead of it.
you were gone episode 4. Bye. Maybe 3. But
Yeah.
anyways, Leah and Miguel are now official, so that's nice.
Officially a fish.
I love that for them. They
Me
kind of
too.
surprised me. Just because we were talking about, we are like, oh, we don't know if they'll last outside the villa, but like at least they'll be friends. But it seems like they're going really strong.
Yeah, and I think it's because they barely really showed us like why they liked each other. Like we knew they liked each other, but I didn't know anything. And now that I've heard the interviews and heard Leah talk about it, it makes
Hmm.
a lot more sense. So I'm here for it.
It does. And then they talk about Leah and like her following and how popular she is. And Ariana's like, how many Instagram followers do you have? And she's like, I think almost 3 million. And then there's like a scattered applause. And she's like, not the scattered applause.
She handled it well, but again, like, okay, these intro conversations, why? We wasted how many minutes? Like, why do we need to know how many followers Leah has? Like,
That
bring
part.
it back. I don't understand. I mean, that's I'm happy for her, but
But
why?
it's just like, wow, you're so loved and so many people on this stage are hated. How does that feel?
Eh, America hates everyone but you. What do you think?
PPG on top?
Let's see, and I kind of want to do this too, Brandon. As we go along, or even at the end, let me know what you feel like they should have included because I feel like this would have been an amazing segue into why does everybody love Leah? Show the montage, show the clip of Rob jumping in the pool and gaslighting her, and let's debrief that.
The fact that
Because
they
on the
didn't
show,
go
y'all
into
never
that,
did.
mm,
A missed opportunity.
extremely missed. But what wasn't missed was
Oh my
after
gosh.
this is when Ariana goes, Nicole and Kendall, how are you?
Run and hide.
It's just silent. No one says
They both
anything.
they both look at each other like, are you gonna talk? Are you gonna talk?
Nicole just goes, I think you should speak.
Yeah, without saying it, basically.
And then like,
Ooh, not me getting nervous thinking of
no, it was bad because Kendall tries to talk and he like can't even get words out. He's like so nervous.
He's so nervous.
And then
He's
Nicole just goes, we all know about the video and it was bad. And I'm like, oh, okay.
No, this is what happened. Ariana asked him, "How are you guys doing?" They both are awkward, whatever. And then Kendall goes, it's been tough. We've been kind of going through it a little bit, just trying to communicate and work on things. And she's like, "Communicate?"
No, yeah.
What? No,
You
you haven't.
haven't been
We have not
communicating.
been communicating. And he's like, "Well, I mean, I want." He's like, "I wanted to give you space." And she's like, "What? No, that's a lie. No, you
It's
haven't."
not true.
And then Kendall is like shaking and she's like, "You need to tell them basically what it is." And then Kendall is just like shaking. He's like, um like you can hear him. Honestly, for this whole time, you can hear Kendall how like deep Kendall is breathing. Even to the
Hmm.
point where Aaron had to say, "Kendall, like you got it. Relax.
Yeah,
You're okay." And which makes me think he was doing that longer.
probably, yeah.
Like he was just like, "Well, like after when I got my phone back, some stuff happened, and I somebody leaked a. I don't even think he said that. Somebody did something when I got out,
He was
and
trying
she
not to say it.
he tries not to say it. He's just like, something happened when I got out and it's been hard. And she's like, anyways, she cuts him off and she's like, yeah. So someone posted, we've like basically like not even explaining the video, but just like there was a video of Kendall and he lied to me about it. And the way I screamed, I was like, ain't no way she just, what?
That was bizarre in
Bizarre.
so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, her thing is, and we can talk about because her Viall Files episode just came out. So I feel like we can
Yeah.
kind of pepper that in. Her thing was if you love someone, you don't lie to them. So I guess what
Mm-hmm.
it was is when the video came out and he told her about it, he was like, "Oh, it was from years ago." And it was someone I was dating or someone I trusted.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Okay." But then she finds out from Janae
Mm-hmm.
with her notes and her messiness. I love Janae. She finds out that it was before like going to the villa, like I guess in quarantine, like on a dating app.
Before. Mm-hmm.
And so
And
her
that's
thing
all
is like, you're lying to me. Like you are like, why wouldn't you be honest with me?
yeah, you lied to me about the video, and now basically she doesn't feel like she can trust him. And he's just like, Nicole, I understand. I shouldn't have lied, but like I literally did not know what to do with myself. I didn't know how to react. Like I just get my phone back. I feel like the world is falling around me. I don't know how to tell my parents. I don't know how to tell my family. I didn't know what to do. So yes, I lied, but I wasn't like lying to like be deceptive. I'm putting words in his mouth, but I feel like that's what he's saying. He wasn't
Yeah.
trying to be deceptive. He just didn't know what to say, and so he lied because he was embarrassed. Like this video of him is online and he doesn't know what to do about it. And she's just like, but like you lied. And then you didn't check in on me. And he's like, Nicole. And
I texted you and she's like, who cares about text?
it's like, you do, bitch. You just
And
brought it
Leah,
up.
well, why, if you're not texting him, how can he communicate with you? And I'm like,
Literally.
facts. I,
And
uh, no, you go,
it's
sorry.
so bad. I was just gonna say, Kendall is like, Nicole, I texted you when we first got home. I texted you and you weren't responding. So I thought, okay, maybe she needs some space. And then she's like, but then but then I posted on Instagram and then you texted me back. And that was just um she's like, you only sent me a text because I posted on Instagram. And he's like, yeah, I wanted to check in on you because I thought you needed space, but then you posted online. So I was like, okay, maybe she doesn't need space, but I was just trying to give you space. And like, she's even seeing that as like how he handled that as a negative thing.
Yeah, and then she said something I really didn't agree with because he was like, I offered to like fly and like see you, like I wanted to be with you. And she was like, and I knew you were just doing it so you can bring it up here. And I'm like, I don't even think she believed it when she said it. She was like, I don't, I'm like, it felt like she was just finding anything wrong to be mad at. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, look, here's the
Oh.
thing. I can understand being annoyed that he lied.
Mm-hmm.
That's understandable, sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think what made her mad was because the internet was coming at her, because everyone on the internet was saying, oh, Nicole's fucked up. She saw the video and just left Kendall high and dry. And her thing, I think, was you
Uh,
didn't like
set the record
debunk
straight.
that or like, yeah, set the record straight and let him know that's not why. But
But Nicole, that is why. Kinda. Kinda.
it's
It kinda
related
is.
to
It's
it.
related. It's related.
It's not
I,
no. And then like, okay, so she was
uh,
on Viall Files where we got some more context. Cause I
yeah.
remember, because basically she's saying all this, and Loki, everyone's kind of like, Nicole, he does care about you. Like like I know he lied,
Yeah.
but like he
Eh,
didn't mean to. And I got her frustration with everyone jumping in because like she's expressing her feelings, but I'm like, you're also trying to victimize yourself in a situation where his nudes were the one leaked. And it's just like that's a losing battle. You're not gonna win that. And it's also an odd
Yeah.
angle to take, especially
It
because
is.
on the Viall Files, she said he also lied about the situation with the two girls that said that when Kenny and Kendall had a section at a club, Kendall kicked them out but let a bunch of white girls in. And
Mm-hmm.
so they posted a video and said that. And then like the next day or maybe a day or two later, Kendall had them at like a pool thing and they were all like drinking and like having a good
Yeah.
time. And
Yeah.
Nicole didn't know about the drama, so when she saw that, she was like, "Why are you with girls? Like, what's going on?"
Yeah, and he said, I guess he told Nicole that at the club it was family and friends. Obviously, it wasn't family and friends. It was
Yeah.
because these girls were there and other people were there. And then she's like, "Okay, well, you're just bringing them on social media to like save face." And he's like, "Yeah, I have to because people are canceling me." And like, I guess in her eyes, well, he did lie again. And I guess he's lied about other things. I don't know if it's more than that.
Well, because he also said, "Oh, Janae and Kenny wanted me to meet with them," and then Janae was like,
Yeah.
"No, I didn't. I just said to apologize to them." Not
He
Janae,
started
like catching you in so many lies.
so many strays. Like she got involved and I guess I mean it's just weird. But yeah, Kendall, unfortunately, like for this episode, this part of the reunion, I don't feel like Nicole got to tell her whole story. Granted, Okay, so we just talked about how she said the whole like you're just bringing it up now on the reunion because you want to basically. And that's when everybody starts chiming in and Nicole is basically like so everybody's like Nicole, he loves you and she's like so my feelings don't matter? I love him too. And I'm just like this is so raw. Obviously, you guys haven't talked because Kendall is sitting there like defending himself. He's saying, like, Nicole, like, I just wanted to be with you. I just wanted to be around you. I wanted to talk. I wanted to fix this. I really feel like this conversation is so raw that, like, it's clear that they have not really talked because what?
No.
Like, it's obviously they haven't really talked, and it's the worst place to do this because one, all these people are now trying to interject, which doesn't feel good when you're in that seat. But also like I don't think she should have brought it up at all here. Obviously, Kendall didn't want to talk about it, and like you're basically disrespecting him by bringing it up. I low key wish Kendall would have just been like, Nicole, I don't agree with you, but I don't want to talk about this here, and so let's just save it for later or something. I don't think production would have let them, but I feel like that would have been the best route. But of course, she put him in a position where he felt like he had to defend himself, and he defended himself. But this whole thing is just messy. Like Janae chiming in, Rob chiming in, Kordell chiming in. Like it's just
It's just, it was too
yeah,
much.
way too much.
There was no way it was going to be productive.
No,
And I
no.
don't think going on Viall Files and basically while you're still with him, being like, I don't know why I'm with him. And I don't think that was going to help. I
Yeah.
wish what she did, because my thing's this, I think ultimately, let's go with the fact like it's the little lies that's making her not trust him. I think that's valid. And like Serena said at
Big
the
lies,
reunion,
Brandon.
I mean, big lie.
I don't think we could call him little. He's lying about some serious things.
I mean, who he sent the video to.
No, not that, but like the context. Like, oh, I sent it to an ex and blah, blah, blah. Okay,
Yeah,
that's kind of a big lie. But the club thing, I think is a big lie because I
it
want you
does.
to
It's
go out.
misleading.
It's very misleading because
And it's
I'm
weird too, because
all,
Kenny's there. So like obviously
yeah.
what are you, why are you
If you
lying?
guys wanted to have a public appearance and invite the public, say he had a whole flyer. How is he lying about it? The flyer was on Instagram. We could have gone.
Sure, maybe there was a family member or two and some friends, but there
No.
was also more people is the thing.
Yeah. I'm not saying that the big lie is the whole video situation because for her to expect perfection in that situation is low key crazy. But I do think that when you start lying about situations, who you're around, blah, 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 and I don't live in your state, that's going to give me like, that's going to be tough for me. I don't think he should have been lying about the club, but I think he's probably lying because he already feels like he's in hot water with her.
Probably. So he's like, let me say
Which
this.
doesn't make it right.
No, but like, and that's what I was gonna say. Like, I think she's valid to like not trust him
Yeah.
anymore. But what she should have done at the reunion, maybe bring up the club situation
And not the video.
and not the video.
Brandon is a
And then maybe
genius.
you could even say like, and there's other things, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe you'll know what it is, but like you're not saying it, and it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But to bring up the video and somehow again like victimize yourself in something that traumatized him
Yeah.
is just bizarre. And then going on Vile Files, repeatedly talking about it and like
Yeah.
it's like I get
What?
not trusting him, and I think because they made this point on Vile Files, and I feel like we've said similar things. Kendall very much cares what people think of him, and also like it does seem he kind of puts on, and it's hard to tell really who he is because he kind of changes for who he's around. Like when he's with the guys, he's so broy and he like wants to be accepted. But then with the girls, it's like, oh, I got your back, like totally, and like all this. So it's kind of like it's hard to read him. He seems like kind of
Yeah.
like a mystery. So I can see
Yeah.
that paired with the lies. It's like, who is this person that I like just
Yeah.
fell in love with on TV?
Yeah.
Got it. Um, but this ain't the way to go about it.
It's not. It's not. I want to talk about the Viall Files too, but um what did you think about her like I essentially making it about her? Because during and in the reunion, she just keeps coming back to like, but what about me? What about my feelings? I love him too. And she's like, at one point she's like when he because he said he didn't know what to do, he couldn't speak to his family, he felt like his world was unraveling, and she's like, you tell me the truth, and when you love someone you be honest, and you let me take shit for 3 weeks and you never checked on me, and you're not supposed to lie to women, and it was
That
just like
part
a
I
lot of
was
the
like,
same.
okay, Nicole.
They just weren't listening to each other. And obviously this is not the place to have a productive conversation, but it was like you shouldn't be talking about it here. And even as you're talking about it here, you're going nowhere because you're not listening to him. I think he's listening to you, but I don't think she was listening to him.
No, and you could tell he was just like really affected and she was like trying to be mad. Like she wanted to
Yeah.
fight. She
Yeah.
was like, I came here
She
to
did.
fight.
She
And he was
did.
like, oh, um, it was
What do you
just, it wasn't a good look on her part.
it
Um,
wasn't. What do you think about the whole thing that she was cuz not thinking of the Viall Files, but thinking of just this when I was watching this, it made me think like, has she really been getting like that beat up online that she feels like she has to expose everything to get this story straight? Like, yeah, people were saying like they don't think that they're together, but and then some people were saying, oh, she's shallow for the video. But like, I don't see how this helps.
that's the bizarre part. Like she's like,
Yeah.
I'm about to expose things. And it's like, well, this is actually making it worse.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, because we even remember when Kendall was on the Viall Files, and you were like,
Mhm.
if you look at the comments, they're all like kind of like saying, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Nicole would leave him
Yeah.
and all that. So, like, I mean, I'm sure she was getting hate, and I could see why she would be annoyed because she made the point too. It was like, okay, I isolated, and you just like were living your best life, like going out and doing all this. And it's like, I mean, but
Yeah.
also like, what is he supposed to do? He's probably trying to forget about what happened, but I get how it
Yeah.
looks. So it's
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't look great. Yeah, I
there,
think Daniela said that.
yeah. And I'm like, I get it. It's just again, like the video thing, like you shouldn't have done
Yeah.
that. You should have said
No,
everything but that, maybe.
literally. Literally. I think that she crossed the line by saying that and exposing it. But I think in her head, she's like, I think in her head, she's already broken up with him. And she's like, I just need to expose why I'm about to separate with the guy that I said I love on national TV. I think that's what it is. It's like, this is why I said, I'm gonna separate. But then she was like, but we're still together.
We're still together, by the way.
Hmm.
It's like, okay. Um, but it's funny you say that because she's speaking with Emily Hanks. She was saying that, and I've seen this kind of go around, and honestly, they alluded to it in Viall Files, but weren't saying it directly because she thinks he's lying about who he sent the video to.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think what Emily said was she probably got the ick from the video. She probably didn't want to be with him after that, but she doesn't want to look bad and just leave him
yeah.
because of it. So she's kind of doing everything to kind of make sure the relationship ends, but not be the one to end
Oh,
it,
ooh,
which,
that's a good take. Yeah, that's
as we know
possible.
now, Kendall ended it.
Yeah, Kendall Def. But then she was like, on this.
That was bizarre. Her statement.
That
Wait, I
was
have it. Should we read
I have
it?
it too.
Do you
Okay,
want
I'm
to
gonna
read
read.
do you want to
I'll
read
read
Kendall or
Nicole.
Nicole? You read
I'll
Nicole.
read
Yeah, read
Nicole.
Nicole.
On August 8th, this is like, what is it? On October 6th, he asked me what day it was. It's
This was
October 6th.
bizarre how she put the dates. I was like, what are you doing?
Here she goes. On August 18th, Kendall 3 days ago. On August 18th, Kendall and I agreed our relationship was worth working on, and we were making plans for me to visit him in Dallas soon. However, today, on August 20th, he called and ended things. While I understand and respect his decision, it's hard to process this one. I opened up to him in the villa and still love and care for him. Now, I'm struggling mentally, and all I ask for is privacy during this time.
This
So
is
like low-key,
bizarre.
she's victimizing herself here too.
He left me.
I
And
opened up to him in the villa and I loved him and cared for him.
this is also bizarre after us listening to Viall Files and how much she like dogged him out and was
No, for
constantly
real.
questioning like, why am I with him? It's
No, for
like,
real. No, for real. I a lot of times she contradicts herself, but read yours.
oh yes, Kendall. I've decided to end things with Nicole. It reached a point where it was not healthy for us to continue the relationship. I still love and care for Nicole. I've never developed such strong feelings for a woman in my life, and I have no regrets for the connection I made with her in the villa, and it was real. She does not deserve any hate. Please stop with the negative comments slash DMs. We're taking this time to focus on our mental health. Thank you guys.
I don't know, man. I feel bad for him. Everybody, a lot of people online are like, not me liking Kendall all of a sudden. You hated Kendall. How do you feel about Kendall now?
Um, does Kendall usually make mouth noises? He gives me mouth
No,
noise.
he does. He does.
Okay.
Because on the Viall files, it was a lot of like, yeah.
As I was
And I'm
doing it, I
like,
was like,
ugh.
does Kendall actually do this? And I'm like, he gives off the energy that he does. So at least
It get like the way he talks makes me think that there's like something in his jaw, like in his jawline.
Gia told me that he talks with his bottom teeth.
Oh yes, we talked about
I was like,
this.
ooh. Um,
Yeah,
you know, I feel bad for Kendall.
me
I
too.
do, because like, I mean, look, I do think it was fucked up him lying about like these things Nicole said he lied about, like the multiple
Okay.
things. The video part I kind of get, like if you're like freaking out and you're just like, oh, it was from an ex. I can
Yeah.
understand that. And like, he came clean when she confronted him, so it is what it is, but she still doesn't believe it, but I don't know. But anyways,
Yeah.
I mean, overall though, I am Team Kendall because I'm like,
Yeah.
it's really bizarre how you're
Yeah.
really, it just feels like she's pulling like a Sheena,
Yeah. No, she's
where
pulling a Rob also.
a Rob too, where it's just like you're really trying to make yourself the victim in this. And although you were affected, you're not Ariana. Like you weren't the most affected. So
Yeah,
like
Rob. You're
relax.
not Leah. Like you're not on the worst side of this situation where you need sympathy and extra support. I don't care. If somebody is going through a hard time, I you put shit aside. If my partner is going through a hard time and whatever we're about to have, I will table the argument because at the end of the day, you need support. Okay, maybe I'm struggling with something, but you ultimately need support. But just to wrap up what she said in the reunion, I just felt like a lot of times she really contradicted herself. Like she was when she cut him off and said all the details, she was like, I was there for you, but you weren't honest. And so basically like justifying why she exposed him. And I was like, so obviously you're not there for
Oh my
him.
God, he lied about who he sent it to, girl. What does it matter? Like, I'm
So
sorry, that is
crazy.
such like I get it, but I'm like, please choose your battles. Like,
Yeah.
really? I can't.
No, it's bad. Um, yeah, she just contradicted herself a lot, and it just didn't seem like anything he said mattered. She already during the reunion, it felt like she already made up her mind about him, and we like discover why during the Viall Files chat. Um, did you have any thoughts about like what the other people said? Like Kordell chimed in, Serena. Serena was last. We can talk about Serena last. Kordell chimed in, Leah chimed in, Janae chimed in, Rob chimed in.
I understood because they were just trying to be like, no, Kendall really cares about you. Like, don't. Because she was really trying to make Kendall look like a monster.
She was.
And they were like, no, like Kendall's like been going through it. Like, what the fuck, Nicole? But they
Yeah.
were like, but then Nicole get upset and they're like, no, we understand you being annoyed that he lied, but like, come on. And Janae was like,
Yeah.
well, like, because Nicole was like, what would you do if Kenny did that? And she's like, if Kenny like was honest, like came clean and then like apologized, like it is what it is. Like he went through something. Like I could
Yeah.
forgive him. And so it's just like, but then Serena's giggling ass. I love her. She,
Serena's just like,
Ariana's like, why are you laughing, Serena?
Brandon, when I first saw this, I was like, not Serena laugh. Because in my when I'm watching this, my heart is pounding. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. This is so bad. This is so awful. And then Serena's laughing, and I'm like, is she drunk? Like, is she high? I texted Brandon. I'm like, do you think she's high? Because why is she laughing? But her explanation, it kind of made sense, but not really.
I mean, what she said was just like, I don't like it when men lie to me, so like that's enough for me to leave someone. So if she wants to leave him because he lied, like that's valid. And if they want to
Yeah.
work it out, that's valid too. Like it is what it is, but she shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
be vilified for wanting to leave him because he lied. And
Yeah,
I think I agree with that.
I agree too.
I think she's more being vilified because of how she's doing it, though.
Yeah, well, in her defense, before she said anything, they were already vilifying her
That's true
about the
too.
video, which is not necessarily fair. I don't agree. It's not his fault that it was linked or leaked. It's not his fault. But if that's a deal breaker for somebody, that's a deal breaker.
It is
I
what it
personally
is.
think it is what it is, right? Like if that's truly how Nicole feels, that's how Nicole feels. If she's like, no, that's where I draw the line. I do not like sex tapes. I do not like footage. Like I don't want to be associated with this. That's her right. Is that nice? Would I do that? No. But that's what Nicole wants to do. And so that's what Serena is saying. Like if that's what she's doing and that's what her deal breaker is, that's her deal breaker. But I feel like I kind of understand her better. Not, I don't agree with her, but I understand her better after listening to the Viall Files interview. I think, I think Nicole just has relationship PTSD because,
Hmm.
at the beginning of the interview, they basically start off and Nick is like, first off, no, never mind. I'll continue. And then I'll talk about Nick because he kind of pissed me off this time. I'm starting to not be a fan of this man. So Nick Viall
Welcome
is
to the
like,
club.
Brandon's like, finally,
It's about
I've been
time.
poisoning you towards him this whole time.
This
So
is
at the
what y'all
beginning of,
see at the gates of hell if you're watching the YouTube. The setup that Nick had in this interview and in Aaron's was the most haunted, bizarre setup I've ever seen in my life.
did you find out why did they move? Where are they? Are they in an Airbnb? Where are
I
they?
don't know, but I couldn't believe that they were in the same room because someone showed behind the scenes footage. They're in the same room, they're close to each other, but for some reason, whoever's on the couch looks like they're down low. And then it just shows Nick and his
Uh,
wife looking like they're up high and they're like just smiling throughout the
oh,
entire
that's
thing, just
funny.
like,
Yeah.
hell yeah,
I
totally,
think it's
Aaron.
the angles. Like Nicole's camera was probably further away and theirs was closer. But you're right, it's kind of distorting. Like, are you in a fun house? Like, what is this?
It was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, but continue.
Crazy. But so he asks her at the beginning, like, what is your relationship history? And we kind of got this on the show a little bit that Nicole has not had good luck with guys. I didn't realize it was this deep. But basically, for 7 years, she's been in one relationship where she loved somebody before Kendall, and they were together for 7 years, and he was emotionally, physically, and mentally abusive. And so for 7 years, she basically made excuses, accepted him, tried to make things work, tried to hope, tried to get it together, and it didn't work. And she said, like, her and her stepdad talk about it all. She's bad at picking guys. And so during the interview, she tells us more about all the lies that Kendall told and is basically saying, like, I just can't trust him anymore. I don't
Hmm.
trust him at all. And then she also says, well, here, we'll break that down next. But my general thoughts about this is like she just has relationship PTSD. Like she came out from what I'm seeing, I feel like she came out of her relationship with her partner who hurt her so badly, which is tough. seven
It
years,
is.
mental, physical abuse, like low key, you have a reason to be traumatized, right?
Right.
Like she came out of this long relationship where she gave somebody trust all the time, and now she doesn't have empathy and she doesn't have patience with the bullshit. She talks like to Nick and says like, well, like Kendall messed up like this and he messed like this and I'm telling him you should have done this and this, and she's basically like, I don't have time to like train Kendall on how to be a man, which I think is absurd. But that's what she says. So in her perspective, this is a deal breaker. Like, I'm not putting up with men anymore who lie. But the
She
problem
should have just
is
broke
that
up with him then.
right. Right, because during this whole interview with Nick, he basically keeps coming back to, are you going to separate? And she's like, no, I want to stick it out. I want to be there for
I'm
him.
so
Girl,
bad
you
at
just
picking guys still though. It's like
like you just threw him under the bus. You clearly don't like him. Like, and
she was wild for that.
she just seems a little like she's got she's got glasses on and all she can see is herself and her feelings. She does
Yeah.
not see Kendall at all because she doesn't even realize how her talking on this podcast is going to impact their relationship, talking about, well, we're still together. Girl, I wouldn't be with you after you said all this about me, you know.
Right. Also, and you keep bringing up the video, which keeps making it trend on social media, and it's probably
Mm,
resurfacing every time you publicly talk about it.
damn, I didn't even think about that.
So, like, again, talk about the other things maybe and not that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
whatever.
And altogether, I think that they both, well, I'll say this. This is what Nicole says. Nicole says after the video, the next day, everybody was like, are you okay? Are you okay? And she's like, I'm fine. Because what Kendall did was he said, Nicole, this video came out. This was a person I used to know, and they put it online. And he just showed her like a screenshot of it, basically. She didn't watch it.
Yeah.
And so she's like, oh my gosh, Kendall, I'm so sorry, was supportive. And that was dead, right? That was it. The next day, everybody's like, girl, are you all right? And she's like, yeah, why wouldn't I be? And and then Janae pulled her aside, showed her the whole video. And then she sees the video and realizes that he is in the hotel before they
Hmm.
start the experience. So she basically had to come to all these conclusions by herself. He did not fill in any blanks for her, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is this happens. She's supposed to go to Dallas with him. She tells him, I'm not going to Dallas anymore. And they separate for 3 days. They don't speak,
Yeah.
which is terrible. Like,
It is. Like,
why?
why didn't you just confront him about it or like talk to him about it?
Exactly. And then honestly, kind of on Kendall too, because I guess Janae filled Kendall in. And Kendall didn't, she claims Kendall didn't try to talk. They both were not talking to each other. From what he says in the reunion, I have a feeling he did try to talk to her. But I'm just like, y'all are, the lack of communication is just really bad. But at the beginning of the Viall Files interview, Nicole says that she went with her ex. They didn't talk about things often. She didn't stand up for herself. She didn't like address things with him. So I just feel like she kind of has a pattern of like, okay, well, we're in a fight now, so I'm not talking to you. And I'm like, that's like
Yeah.
the worst way to solve a fight. And then, so now imagine you're stewing on something for 3 days. I guess they talk. I don't think they really ever had a full conversation about everything.
Doesn't seem like
Um,
it.
it doesn't seem like it, or in those conversations, she didn't get everything off of her chest. So basically, I feel like for 3 weeks she was stewing on it. And when you stew on shit, you create this is the story that you have. Not to say
Yeah.
that it's not true, but like if you're not gonna let the other person interject or believe what they have to say, then yeah, you have your own story in your head. So for
Right.
3 weeks, she's stewing on it. She's pissed. Oh, people are talking shit about me online, and then explodes at the reunion. It makes perfect sense why she's acting like this. She shouldn't
It
be
does. She
like
kept it bottled up.
for a long time and didn't say anything because she says like they would talk like because Nick asked her like how often do you talk and she's like well we at least text every day. They basically weren't talking.
Yeah. They texted like
So
3 times a day, maybe, or something like that.
and I was like, text? That's
I'm
your
like,
man you
so
love.
it's
I would
like
have
good
been,
morning, good afternoon, good evening. Like,
yeah. And then from what Kendall said, at first she was ignoring him. And then he wanted to fly her out to Dallas. And then like she said no and whatever. And then I guess when they did finally address it, she took his gestures as love bombing. Because he was saying something like, I'll fly and be with you right now, or I'll fly you to somewhere in New York
and
or
she was like,
something.
"Oh, I'm busy this weekend, so if I say no, I'm gonna look bad." She's very concerned about looking bad, but
Yeah.
continues to somehow make herself look worse.
Worse. She's in self-preservation, which is what you do when you're scarred.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like, I'm not gonna let you hurt me. So you have your blinders on. You're not listening to the other person. You're not caring about what they feel, how they feel. And so it's just altogether bad. And I think the downside of this situation is I actually think that they could have both worked it out. I think they both have things they need to work on, namely
Hmm.
Nicole needs to go to therapy because during this whole interview with Nick Viall, she's like, "Yeah, I haven't been to therapy. I should probably go." And then at the end, she's like, "Wow, you guys really helped me." And I was like, "Girl, please do not
She kept fueling his
misinterpret these
ego.
literally. Nick Viall is not a therapist. Do not
They are not
do not guess.
qualified.
They're not like people can give advice, but like, go see a professional, please. Because she's like, I should re-listen to this video and remember the things that we talked about. Because Nick is basically like, well, if you feel like this and you feel like there's no hope, break up. And then he said, you shouldn't have hope in a relationship, which I think I didn't really agree with. What did
You
you think
shouldn't have
about that?
hope.
Yeah, he was like, if you're hoping in a relationship, it's not good. Because basically, like, hope is not productive. You should have hard, solid effect. Like,
Oh, I
I
guess like if
hope,
you hope someone you're not sure if they'll like tell the truth or something.
yeah, like, I hope he'll like work on his anger, or I hope that tomorrow he'll be honest. And he's like, no, you don't, hope is not something to rely on. I'm like, so people can't change? Like, of course, you're not going to change somebody completely, but like, people have the capacity to grow if you allow them
Such a
to.
Nick Viall slogan to be like, hope is
Right.
dead.
Don't.
Listen to Viall Files. Shut
That's
up.
basically what he was saying.
I get in some situations, like some examples, sure, but as a general, I don't think hope is
Yeah.
bad. I don't
And not in
know.
this situation with Kendall. Nick and his wife were basically agreeing with Nicole. And I was like,
Well, they agree with whoever's in front of them.
that's what I figured. I was like, I think that they're just, because what are you going to do? Argue with her? Her mind
Right.
is clearly set. There's no changing
She acts
Nicole's
like it's
mind.
not, but it is.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know, but I hate him. It's like, no, girl, you clearly don't like him.
No, but for real. And she just kept
Yeah.
fueling his ego. She was just like, oh my gosh, Nick, that was so good. I need to write that down. Like, oh my gosh, you're so good at advice. And I'm like, please stop.
I
Stop.
wonder if it was a little underhanded, if she just like saying that so he could stop.
I don't know if her
You know,
humor
when
is
you're like,
that highbrow.
oh wow, such a great point.
If it
And then you
was,
just
I'd respect her a little more.
right.
I'd be like, okay.
So but the whole interview was just, it just made me sad because I'm like, damn, Nicole, I actually think that you guys could have something good, but you've been so hurt in the past that you're taking it out on Kendall, who I
Yeah.
think literally lied but made a genuine mistake and is trying to make up for it. Yes, I do agree with what you said, Brandon, earlier. He does do things for appearances. He's in
Hmm.
the public light. Okay, maybe that's something he can work on. But I really feel like all of the problems that she is like, this is unsolvable. I feel like they are solvable. But to Nicole, they're not.
Which is fine, but again, it's just, I don't know. It's not a good look when you keep bringing up the leaks
Literally.
and
Yeah.
then just like finding any and every reason to be upset.
Yeah.
And I don't
And then
know.
they started because she told him what you said earlier, that she thinks he's lying about the app. What'd she say? She said like,
Like lying
sh
about who he sent it to.
yes, lying about who he sent it to on the app. I've never heard of Kia or whatever. And they're like,
Raya.
oh, Raya, not Kia.
Kia Soul.
Yeah, and I was like, why do you guys care about, like, they were both kind of going down a rabbit hole with her about the app and like who's on it and who it was. And I'm just like, I don't really think that matters.
Yeah. I mean, there's an implication there that we don't need to get into, but
Yeah.
there's an
Yeah.
implication.
And I
Um,
and I don't think that's fair either. So I'm not even gonna we're not gonna give it
it's not,
airtime.
especially how much they were talking about it. But with the Viall Files, the thing that really like the end of it, I was like, I actually can't. Nick at the end goes, as a straight man, I can say you're very calm, and that's a quality men really desire.
Oh my
The
gosh.
right guy will know
Nicole
how
is
to
calm.
appreciate that and not take advantage. I was like, Nick, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh my gosh. It's giving Rob like in
You're
the
just
villa, she
so
was so
calm.
quiet. She
And
was so
now she
calm in the villa.
speaks.
Now
How
she
dare you
speaks.
speak?
The girl opens her mouth. And I was like, what about Nicole gives you calm? She's like pissed. She's like literally the whole time she's like, I'm so angry. And she's calm. I mean, she's not yelling and screaming, but I wouldn't say she's calm.
It was such a misogynistic comment. I'm like, Nick, please go to hell. I can't. I hate him.
Yeah.
Anyways, on that note, that was pretty much it for the Viall Files, right?
Yeah, I the last thing I wrote is she says she just wants to let it go and just cuddle with him, but to respect herself, she doesn't want to overlook things just because she loves him. So she's she's really planting her foot in the ground. She's not getting over this. She's not letting this man get one over on her. And I think later on in life, she will learn that she kind of like fumbled a bag, maybe. Or
Maybe.
maybe she'll go on to just think that this was the best decision for her. Her feelings are her feelings. I just feel like her feelings are a lot weighted on things that have happened before and not necessarily what's happening now. But that's my perception. I don't know that girl. And like
True.
Serena says, if a lie is your deal breaker, a lie is your deal breaker.
Facts. And yeah, it's just not the best look, as we said a million times. But you know what?
Yeah.
Pop off, I guess. They're not
Oh
together anymore.
yes.
So I guess we'll
They're not
see.
together.
Maybe I wonder if she'll say anything after the Viall Files or like try to clarify some things. If he will, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to stay tuned for that. But
Mm-hmm.
so that was all with Nicole and Kendall. They're done.
They're
Uh
done.
and then back to the reunion.
We basically don't hear from them for the rest of the time. I think our Ariana asks Nicole a question and then Nicole Kendall says nasty at the end and that's it.
Yeah. But they kind of move on to Rob a little bit, where he
Mm-hmm.
gives like the most vaguest like statement. He's like, I made a lot of mistakes and I have some regrets. What are they? You're okay, and they are.
He's like, I regret the pain I caused. Not specifically to anybody, but I regret the pain I caused. But on the other side, I think that some good things came. Don't take credit for Leah and Miguel being
Stop
together.
speaking in riddles. Say it.
Say it. I wish Ariana gave him the follow-up. And that means
Right. I wouldn't be surprised if she did and they
oh.
just cut it out because they were
Yeah, they
like,
probably
it was
did.
such a
No, this part
choppy
was very
reunion.
chopped up.
It was, because then it goes to Andrea, and
Hmm.
we're like, she's kind of getting into like how coming out of the villa, she was emotional and confused with how she left, and she was going online to because she felt attacked and she wanted to explain herself.
Hmm.
And I get that. I can imagine it was traumatizing how she left.
Yeah,
So, like, I get it.
I get it.
And I mean, I could see she was emotional. She thought Leah was malicious in
Yeah.
sending her home. So she talked some shit. But then she said shit that wasn't even about the decision, like, which we'll get into. And it was just like, she just went about it kind of the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean like
But
Leah interjects.
oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, go
No,
ahead, go ahead.
I get why she thought she was such a big, because people were like, you were only on 4 episodes, and it's like, but it was like the big traumatic thing that happened. Like Rob almost left.
Oh
So it was like, I get why she's speaking on it.
yeah,
But
me too. Especially because people were hating on her, like, girl, you really thought that man liked you? Watch in a couple weeks. You know what I mean? Like, I get her saying like she wanted to claim the narrative. Keep it about you and Rob. I don't see what it has to do with anybody else. Because from what Leah says later, y'all were
mhm.
cool. So why would you, because of that? I mean, I kind if she felt like it was really Leah who sabotaged her, but to me, it's like Leah was kind of your friend. So why would you immediately turn on her and start talking shit about her?
Yeah, because she says she was like, "Oh, I was acting out of emotion," and this is where Leah's like, "I am so sorry, but you said on After Sun that all I do is act out of emotion, and you would never do that. Yet that's the explanation you're giving for everything, and I'm so confused." And then Janae, you also said that Leah was two-faced, and you said this,
Janae,
page
Janae
four.
pulls her, Janae pulls her papers out. I was like, Brandon, that thing looked thick. It was stapled. She's like, on episode 4, I was like, no way.
I will say, in regard to that, she said on a TikTok comment she was gonna let us see like all the stuff that was in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's funny. But also, I liked her dress sitting down. We had talked offline about her dress wasn't that great, but I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah,
it's good
because you didn't
sitting
like the
down.
ruffles, the
Yeah, I'm like,
wrinkles.
okay, sitting down is cute. Which that's the important thing at a reunion. You gotta find a sit down outfit. But I will say, and then this is where Leah says she feels dumb because she liked Andrea leaving the villa and then saw like she commented under her picture. She was like, "Oh, I love Andrea," but then she
Yeah.
saw the shit she said, and then Liv jumps in about Andrea's comments on the show,
Yeah.
and it just because you have Andrea coming from a very wounded place because of the internet
Yeah.
and she's trying to like explain herself and you could tell she's like nervous. So then when it's
Yeah.
like so many people talking at her, it then
Yeah.
makes it look bad.
Like they're ganging up on her.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that part was tough for me to watch because I was like, dang, you guys like have good points to make, but how you're talking to her is not very like respectful. She did try to lie, which is why Liv interjected because she's like, everybody online was saying I was mean to you guys and I wasn't. And Liv is like, girl, you talked a lot of shit about us in the villa.
Yeah.
And she's like, I didn't. And Liv gives like two examples that they showed on the show, but I'm sure that there were others that she probably mentioned. And
Yeah.
so they all three kind of gang up on her. So when I was watching this, I was like, oh, I feel bad for Andrea, but I'm
I
ambivalent because they didn't explicitly. I wish they let Janae go through her folder first or
that
her
part,
papers.
I'll say this, and I came to this realization I think today, or maybe a little yesterday as well, because you have social media like constantly coming at Andrea, constantly
Mm-hmm.
lifting PPG up and Live up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then when they're in a situation where they're confronting Andrea, now I'm not going to say all the internet, but there's a good portion that's like, Andrea handled herself so well. Like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad for Andrea. They're being mean girls. But it's like, no, actually, if we're really
It
gonna
would,
like keep it a buck, the mean girls are the social media people. Because y'all think,
yeah,
oh, three people talking at once at her. What about the thousands of people who are leaving her hate comments and like making her feel some sort of way? That's
right.
actually ganging up. The three people who are actually in a situation and confronting someone they dealt with directly, yeah, maybe they shouldn't all speak at once, but
Yeah.
it's actually affecting them. This actually has to
Yeah.
do with them. The social
Right.
media people, it does not have to do with y'all. And it's crazy
Yeah.
because y'all will like make fun of Andrea, but then when the people who actually she did something to say something, now you're like, oh no, I
Defending
feel
her.
bad. Social media is
Yeah.
fucked. It's just like, and I get
Make
it
it
because
make
again, we were
sense.
saying we don't think Janae really should have jumped in, like maybe waited and then said something because it doesn't look good when multiple people are like jumping in to talk at someone, especially someone
Mm-hmm.
who's not coming from a very like offensive place at that time. But
Mm-hmm.
it is also like but it is what it is. Like y'all hype them up and they do have issues with her, so they're gonna
Yeah.
address it because it was stuff she
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
So she didn't do
Yeah.
it to y'all in social media land, but y'all were coming at her harder than they did.
Yeah. No, it's true. The way they cut it, and or the way it happened, because I don't know. But
Yeah.
I'll say the way they cut it because I don't know how it happened. But the way that it looks is that these three people are just ganging up on Andrea. And at first I felt bad, but later on I was like, but wait. Andrea has literally been saying whatever she wants about Leah, about Miguel, about Janae, about Serena, like just saying all kinds of stuff, even to the point that Rob doesn't want to associate her. Not that I think that's a good thing because I don't really agree with him,
Rob.
but basically to show that she's been saying a lot of stuff. And so it's basically, again, these girls have been like, for the last couple weeks, seeing everything, stewing on everything, and talking to each other about everything. Because I
Yeah.
really did feel like in this moment where Leah and Janae are together, I feel like this is how they talked about it at home. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and another thing, and then she did this, and you know what I mean? So I also feel like that's why it came out that way. Not to excuse them because I don't agree with how it did, but like if we're looking at the bigger picture, Andrea was saying a lot of like crazy stuff, and they were just
Hmm.
like, "Girl, you need to chill." Even how it ended was cold because Liv says the two things that Andrea said was saying like you're welcome to Leah when Miguel came in as like a snobby comment. And then she
Hmm.
said Hannah only first time she wanted to work out was when Miguel was in the villa. Hannah gives us some comic relief because Hannah didn't think it was mean. She was
Yeah.
like, I knew it was playful. And then Ariana, like the way they chopped it was weird, but Ariana like chimed in and was like, "Do you understand why the girls picked Janae?" And then they're like, "Yeah, they were better friends." And the group's like, "No." And Ariana's like, "Well, obviously, guys, Andrea's trying to apologize. I think we should like see what we need to do going forward. Like, what should we do going forward?" And then Janae's just like, "Keep Leah's name out your mouth." And that's how the conversation ended. And I'm like, I know there had to be more. You know what I mean? Like
There,
it felt very
she was like,
short.
next question, Ariana. That's it.
Yeah,
And I'm like, okay, well,
I
there
know.
definitely was more, is the thing. Like, there
Yeah.
was more.
So I think they
Um,
were kind of trying to cut it so that it looked like a dog pile. I don't know if
Janae
that's
and
true.
Kaylor, I think, said on TikTok or Twitter, they were like, it was interesting watching the reunion back. They were like shocked. And I'm sure it was that there was more stuff said, which
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so they got it all out kind of with Andrea. Andrea was apologetic. She started to kind of cry. Her whole thing was just she really liked Rob and wanted to defend that. And I'm like, okay.
That's not what the girls are saying to you, honey. I don't think you're listening. You're
Yeah.
not listening. They're saying, "Why did you talk shit about us?" But
Right.
anyway, no, she was emotional. I think she started getting emotional because she was getting emotional as she was apologizing to Leah and was basically explaining, like, I really did like Rob. And I guess that was her reason for
Well,
being
you were
upset.
smirking when Rob got up at the fire pit ceremony and left Leah. Not to pile on, but I'm just saying it's kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
well now you get maybe, and she was saying, she was like, I get it because of how
Yeah.
I felt. So I'm like, okay, you got perspective. That's
Yeah.
good. But they do have a reason to be annoyed with you. But
Mm-hmm.
y'all talked it out, so it is what it is. Leah said she left on great terms with Andrea.
After
So
the reunion
yeah,
or in the villa?
she said
Oh,
in the
yeah.
TikTok comment, she was like, I left on great terms with everyone, even Andrea. Like, we're all good. Like, I don't care what they showed. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
okay.
figured. I figured because for Janae to just end it with keep Leah's name out your mouth, I was like, this seems so mean spirited, and I don't feel like that's how it
Yeah.
happened.
And because some people were like, oh my God, Janae's going too hard for Leah. Leah would never do that. But then when we see the fire pit scene, and like, not to jump too far ahead, but just to touch on them bawling at the thought of Janae leaving, I was like, that's why she's defending them because they're sisters.
No, they really are. And they've gotten to know each other. I don't care what a lot of people are like, oh, Leah never had Janae's back. I don't care. Your friendships are never going to be perfect where you say the right thing and do the right thing at all the right times. But at the end of the day, they're homegirls. They're not bothered by it. So why are you?
Right.
So, and I don't see PPG breaking up anytime soon. Oh my
They
gosh,
better
that would
not.
be like the worst.
I would be so sad.
Oh my. I
Oh
wouldn't believe in
my.
friendship any. I'd just be like, okay, I'm gonna stop being friends with people because if their friendship didn't work, no, I'm just kidding.
No friends.
No
Um,
friends.
then Rob says he was shocked by the videos, and this is where he says, like, in the villa, I thought she was calm and put together, which she still may be. just the videos were shocking. And I'm like, okay, Rob.
Oh, Brandon, you read this man like a book. Go back and listen to our recaps of Love Island because Brandon said Rob basically wants a woman to be quiet and not say and just agree with him and
Hmm.
just be there to be with, but
Period.
not talk
Don't
and not
speak,
interject. Don't butt in.
but
And
be
he was like,
there.
he was like, she was so calm in the villa, but then she was on TikTok. Not that that's wrong. And it's like, obviously you don't agree. Don't
Right.
contradict yourself now.
At least if it is just what she was saying, then say that. But to be like, oh, she made so many,
Exactly.
I'm like, okay, like what is she supposed to do? TikTok is like
Right.
the biggest platform right now.
Right. Unless he did allude to that and we didn't see it. Again, I feel like there's a lot we missed, but I have a feeling Rob didn't get into specifics with her. And
Right.
I feel bad for her because Ariana's like, is this, which at first she was like, is this your first time seeing each other? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, please,
Oh no.
don't smile. I feel like I kind of wish Andrea would have kind of gave Rob the business a little bit. Like I low key feel like
Same.
you played with my feelings a little bit. Yeah, you didn't make any promises, but like when you got up to like leave with me, I thought that meant
And
that like you
now
really
you're
cared about
sending
me.
three home. I agree. I'm like, I don't know why she didn't have any smoke for Rob. He like
She should have had
played her.
some. I would have. Like
Right.
not that you need to be 100% loyal with me, but like I feel like my exit was so dramatic because you tried to like leave. And then when I was leaving, that kind of made me think, oh, maybe he feels some type of way about me. Obviously that wasn't true. So I kind
Yeah.
of wish you had cut the beat. Like literally that night he was smiling in Leah's face when she
Right.
went up to say she took a back seat.
Exactly. And he was still, oh my God, not to keep doing a thumbs up. I need to stop. Um, exactly. He like, and he has even said like he still kind of liked Leah at that point and was seeing maybe if something would happen. So
Yeah.
like he's just fucked up. She should have said
Yeah.
something, but she
And I
didn't.
wish they would have called her out on all the men she said she would have stolen and they could ask her. So, Aaron, were you feeling like
Miguel.
Miguel? Do you want Andrea? Because Andrea says you want her. I guess that
Uh,
might be a little mean spirited, but
it
I
might.
just feel like they could have spent more time on that.
Definitely. And then this is where Ariana's like, well, to go forward, sometimes we have to go back to the back seat.
Hmm.
And this I did kind of feel bad for her too, because like I get why they were joking about the backseat comment, but then Andrea's just in the back and it's like it was a traumatic moment for her. And you just have Leah like, believe it, the backseat, what I did to Andrea. And then Liv was like, I was driving the car. And then
And Leah's like, Kaylor's like, I was in the car too. I
I
was
was a
like,
passenger princess. And Serena had tires. She was changing the oil. Oh, like I can't.
No, that's what I'm saying, Brandon. These people are so you could tell they kiki all the time. So it feels like it's not the place or time. Maybe the environment was more playful, but it's just like, guys, stop.
Not
Like
when
there's
she's
a
right
lot of
there.
like when Janae pulled out her paper, Leah got up and was like laughing,
She was like,
and then
ah.
Serena was laughing, and I was like, girls, please, this is not demure. This is not mindful. There's
But it
other
was
people in the
funny.
room. But they're also the queens of Love Island, so who's gonna tell them what to do? You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like it was giving a little like we could do what we want kind of energy, which is
Period.
fine. It's fine,
I
but
mean,
like
hey, they're
I was
addressing
more
their haters.
right. I was more so trying to understand why they were acting like that, and I think it's because they literally talk shit all the time.
Period. Uh, so the next segment is where they talk about bombshells and Casa Amor girls.
This is so
Um,
stupid.
I did think it was funny when Nicole was cringing about making out with Kendall. I'm like, that did happen.
Oh, Kordell.
Kordell. Yes, when she
Yeah.
was cringing about that, I was like, that did happen. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm
It
like,
was kind of like intense too. When I saw the video, I was like,
I was like,
oh, well,
ooh,
they were into it. They were getting
yes.
into it. Whew. And Cordell's just like, I think that was the one time he woke up during the
Right. I love, can I just say, because some people were clowning his outfit. I loved his outfit and I love the
I
hat. I
too.
was like, this is
No,
lit.
Kordell is high fashion. Don't
He
play with
is.
him. Don't play with
Period.
him. You want a personal stylist. You want
Hmm.
Brandon Lord to buy you clothes. I know you do.
Yes, I'll borrow the hat too, Kordell.
It was
Um,
fly.
Kenny reflects on bringing back Catherine. This was kind of like a nothing. He kind of said like, "Oh, I felt like I was at court at the recoupling." Can I just say, have you seen there was like something because they're doing a lot of like fun like little interviews and like things with like Complex, BuzzFeed, like all these things. It
Mhm.
was Serena, Kordell, Janae, and Rob, and they were talking about the Casa Amor recoupling.
Yes.
And then Rob was like, "Did they show the twin sister comment?" And Serena was like, "No." And she was like, "Apparently, the funniest. We need the unedited version of Serena's Casa Amor
I think I
recoupling."
I wrote it down because they talked about it during Keke Popular. Oh, okay,
They
I
did.
have it. Do you have it?
Yes, it was. y- She goes to, apparently she says to Cordell, and apparently this made them laugh. You're a bitch, my ex a bitch, y'all twin sisters. And I'm like, that is the I would have died
He said that
laughing.
like he had to hold himself from laughing. And I'm
And
just
there
like,
were
bro.
moments where if you look at Cordell, he's kind of looking down.
Mhm.
Rob, when we thought he was like shaking his head, he's like, I was trying not to laugh. I'm like, that's kind of funny, actually.
Oh, that's so funny. No, I kind of love that clip, or I should go watch the whole interview, but I saw that clip and I kind of love that they're doing it with Rob because
Yeah,
it kind of like brings him to life a little bit
it
more. Like
did.
I
I
feel
was like,
like
that was funny.
yeah, we only see like one dimension of him with all this Leah stuff and we don't get to see how he like had fun with the cast.
You're a bitch, my ex a bitch, y'all twin sisters.
Y'all might as well be twin sisters. I don't know how that was off the dome.
It was. I was like
Serena said
a
she was talking for
poet.
45 minutes.
One of the TikTok comments was like, Shakespeare could never. And facts.
Literally.
Oh,
I love how they also just let her rant for 45 minutes. Like,
they did.
that's
They were like, this is
crazy.
amazing. And then Janae
We'll
was like,
talk
I
about
was trying to cry about Kenny, but she kept making me laugh.
they're trying to cry about Kenny.
Uh, we get Cassie and Rob are just friends. Great.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Catherine says in the outside world, she would never go after someone who has a man. And then Sierra goes, exactly. And this is where I realize social media has really like made these Casa girls feel terrible. And I will
Um,
say, justice for the Casa girls in the sense like they don't choose to be Casa girls. It's kind of like they're given that role. They're supposed to make connections. They're set up to look bad.
yeah.
I will say there is a way not to like I don't think Daniela looked bad at the end of it. And she
At the
was
end of what?
like the whole thing. Like people
Oh,
liked
yeah.
Daniela, and she was a
Yeah.
Casa girl who was getting with Aaron, who was in like the
Yeah.
strongest relationship. I do think sometimes if you have a bad vibe, you have a bad vibe, Dea. So like sometimes Dea, it may come across bad, Dea. But with that, I do feel bad because I am like you are kind of put in an impossible situation.
Yeah.
And people are just seeing an edited show. So then, and Casa girls aren't typically there that long. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like,
They gotta play the game. You can't hate Daniela. I mean, yeah, you can't hate Daniela for getting close to Aaron, even physically, because in her head, this is what he wants. I'm consenting, like it's okay with me, but she didn't know that. I also wish that this was something that was discussed more. Like Aaron, you kind of played with my feelings, and low key, so did you, Rob. Like, I wish Daniela had said something. But Daya specifically, I think the hate is because she was like, you deserve a girl like this, you deserve a girl like that, which she didn't say it explicitly, but almost sounds like she's digging at Serena. I don't know if she was or not, but I think that's what, from what I remember, was I didn't like that. Like, she's like, you deserve a girl who's gonna do this for you, and you deserve a girl who's gonna be all about you, and you know what I mean.
that's the thing. And she was just very like, remember even in the After Sun, it was very much like, oh, we're gonna give Kordell like what he deserves. Which, granted, I think the last thing I think the Casa Girls saw was the dance game, which they got
Yeah.
into at the Keke Palmer podcast. I'm sure you'll talk
Yeah,
about.
they did.
Um, but so I get them thinking, oh, Serena might not be that into Cordell, but it was like she was setting herself up to be like, I'm the girl you want, like a little
Yeah.
sireny, which, again, you're a Casa girl. You're set up
Yeah,
low
you have
key
to do
for
it.
failure.
I get, yeah, for sure.
So,
For
like,
sure.
I do feel bad, but I don't know. There's
Yeah,
also,
I don't think the hate is justified. Again, like
it's
I,
not. That's the thing. And social media is just
it's not.
crazy to them. So it's just like,
Literally,
okay, y'all,
like
like chill.
people are having a field day and even did we talk about this? Daya was saying during or after that she wished that production had explained that the screenshot from the game that had the
Hmm.
tweets
We talked
was
about this, I
fake.
think, last week because she's
Oh
like, she
yeah.
hates love. And I'll get into even something she says in a
Yeah.
minute because
Okay.
she even went on another rant.
Yeah.
Um, but Liv jumps in and she's like, being a bombshell was so much harder though, because I had to come the first day, and within 6 hours I had to take someone's man, and then I had to leave them vulnerable. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if it's harder, but I will agree you are also kind of set up bad.
Yeah, I mean nobody is in the best spot. Literally all the other bombshells went home except for Liv
Right. Oh, and
and
Nicole
Nicole.
and Kenny and Miguel, low key.
Okay. Four bombshells out of how many? Probably 10 5, 6?
A decent
No.
amount.
Because it was okay.
Connor
So
and
we go
Akeem were out quick.
yes.
Andrea was out.
Mm-hmm.
Nigel and Cassidy, if you could remember them.
They were out.
Cassie and Harrison.
Yeah, Harrison left 6. So
Liv
that's
left, but she lasted a long time.
right. So you basically had 6 bombshells go home immediately, or not immediately, but pretty quickly, fairly quickly. And then
Hmm.
you had 4 stay. So that's not the best odds, you know? And
Yeah.
most of the OGs stayed throughout the whole thing. And then, yeah, so it's basically like the Olympics for who has the worst. Mine was bad because of this. Well, ours was like, yo, everybody had a hard time. Like,
Right. And I will say, I think the Casa girls arguably had it worse,
I agree
at least
too.
this season, especially. But this is where Daya jumps in and she kind of
Mm-hmm.
talks about her experience and how it's like we're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be making a connection, but like then we're kind of made to look bad. But we do understand why the girls were upset because it was like you're seeing your man walk in holding someone else's hand. Like, of course, that's like trash. That's terrible. And then it cuts to her talking about social media and like how they're getting so much hate and like
Mm-hmm.
the cast needs to be more mindful about comments they like or things they repost and stuff like that because that co-signs hate and makes their
Mm-hmm.
followers think it's okay to hate, which I think that is true. I don't think
I
people
think
are
it's true too.
doing that on purpose. I think they're also all new to this, so they're kind of just like reacting to stuff. So then it
Yeah.
kind of like they're not like, oh, don't like they're not purposely sending hate, but it does indirectly. But
Yeah.
this is where she also says, like, oh, to Serena, not you, because like you haven't
Yeah.
been doing the most at all. And they kind of have
Yeah.
that moment where they're like, no, I like you and like I understand and like it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that they're probably specifically talking about Andrea. I feel like Andrea from the cast probably got the most licks because I remember when she was saying I could take Miguel, Liv made a post or something that was just like some people need to like be mindful of what they say and
Yeah.
kind of keep their mouth shut, right?
Yeah, and there
And
was like an
then
edit when she said something about Aaron that I think Leah, Liv, and Kaylor reposted.
so there has been some like shadiness around. I also remember, yeah, when Aaron was on BFF saying that Serena was throwing plates. I think Kordell, Serena, and Leah said like, relax. It wasn't
Yeah.
like that, you know? So there are instances where I feel like either they're defending themselves in response to something, or maybe they're stirring shit up. I don't specifically remember PPG starting and saying something, but of course I haven't seen anything. But I think that Daya is right because when you do comment or whatever, it kind of co-signs like, all right, well, it's okay to say this. It's okay to do this, you know?
Yeah.
It's a slippery slope, but I think that she needs to also like note, yeah, commenting, but if you say something, feel like you, let's just comment on not saying anything at all.
Yeah, and it's confusing because you're saying there shouldn't be any social media hate, but then you get on live and hate on Ariana for some
Oh my
reason.
gosh, what did she do? What?
So she recently went on live after the reunion. The first thing I saw was, and this was the editing I mentioned earlier in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
She said she had to beg production to speak at the reunion because they weren't going to let her speak and she had said nothing. And that at the end of the reunion, when Ariana was about to wrap up, Dia goes, "No, wait, like, are we really going to end? I have to say something." And then I guess Ariana looked at her and was just like, "Well, what do you need to talk about?" And this is where she brought up the social media stuff and all that. And I wanted to be
Mm-hmm.
noted, you can tell it was cut because after the bomb, when she's talking about being a bombshell versus Casa, her hair has a lot of volume. And then all of a sudden, when she goes to social media, the hair has a little less volume. Keynote, if you're watching
Oh,
social media, if you're watching a reality TV, how you can tell if something's like a different scene or if there's been a big lag is the hair and lighting, but hair
so her hair
especially.
getting flatter meant more time had passed?
That's what I'm thinking. And it
Mm-hmm.
kind of just looked different. It's like just in general, the whole scene, if you see the cut between the bombshell versus Casa conversation and when she like talked about social media, it was like, this looks different. So
Yeah.
I believe that was at the end of the reunion, like she said. However, how are you going to say, like, I didn't talk at all at the reunion if beforehand you were talking about justice for Casa girls?
Yeah.
So you definitely had
Yeah.
opportunities. But then also the other thing she says about Ariana, because I guess someone commented on the live, like, oh, the host was giving Mean Girl. And then, which I didn't think she was, but
I didn't think so she was either.
Dea goes, Ariana did say one thing that bothered me. She said, because I guess it was after the fire pit scene. Ariana apparently asked the cast, oh, raise your hand if you think Leah took a back seat. And then no one really answered. She, I guess, asked again. And then when no one would answer, she said, look, guys, like I've been on reality TV. I promise this isn't that bad. Like, da da da. But we have to, like, we're trying to, like, get this. And then I guess Daya took that as Ariana trying to make it about herself and quote unquote Vanderpump Rules or whatever show she's been on. And that
Daya!
and that Love
Daya!
Island got so many more viewers than Vanderpump did.
Daya!
And I'm like, Taya,
Oh my gosh, Daya.
you were on 4 episodes. The show didn't get the viewers because of you. Ariana's been on TV for 10 years. And and also
Daya.
brought a lot of viewers to Love Island.
Literally.
And also, if like you had watched Ariana like we have and like listen to interviews too, she's not bringing up Vanderpump Rules because she's trying to make it about herself. She barely
She
likes
literally
the fucking
hates those
show.
people.
She's like
She
hates the
hates
show.
Vanderpump. No, no, no,
She's
no, no.
always said
Oh my gosh,
she wants
Daya.
to like reassure them like you
Mm-hmm.
it'll be okay. Like I've been under public scrutiny. Like I want to come like as the big sister to be like you'll be all right.
Yeah.
We can get through this. So it's just like for her to
Mm-mm.
like take it that way. And then she
It's
also said
crazy.
like I don't know why Ariana was even asking that. Like you should be asking questions that like viewers want to know and like all this. And I'm like, well, to be fair, the viewers wanted to know
Yeah, the
everything
backseat
about
stuff.
the backseat and the fire pit scene. And also like clearly producers are telling her, tell them to raise their hand if you think Leah took a backseat. Ariana's not writing these fucking questions.
Yeah.
It's her first time hosting the reunion. Like,
Uh,
what do you think?
no, no,
Um,
no, no, no. This is like this is like when you're in the break room and somebody walks in and you start talking shit and about someone like the CEO or something, and it's like the CEO's assistant who you're talking to. Like it's just one of those moments where if you don't Ariana's the host. Maybe Daya doesn't realize that they pick a host for a specific reason. in Ariana's instance, she's got a lot of influence and she's got a lot of love. So to speak to speak about Vanderpump like that and to speak about Ariana like that is just kind of ignorant because it's like you don't know who you're talking to or what you're talking about. Like you shouldn't speak on something if you don't know it, right? Like, oh,
Yeah.
Ariana is this and that. Well, if you don't know that for sure, then don't say it. Like I would never it's like yeah, it's basically like talking bad about production and they can all hear you. Like
That
we
part. And
except we know her. We know our like the audience loves Ariana. So like that low key puts you in a worse spot.
it does. And I've seen a lot of people take Ariana side. In the first video I saw, there was like some people being like, oh, why did Dea eat like this? Or like, low key, why would Ariana ask that? And it's like, well, she was told to ask it, like, clearly, guys.
Yeah, that's silly.
And then it's just like, what did Dea eat? Like, Dea, you were on. Look, I feel sorry for the hate you get, but it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
you can't then go on social media and shade
And
someone for like, and kind of be petty for no reason.
you're literally contradicting yourself and doing what you said not to do.
Exactly. So it was just like, I don't know,
Yeah.
but regardless, Daya, I get it. You're scarred from the. You're, like and she's kind of said it like she's kind of scarred from the show. Like I don't think she used those words, but it was just kind of like she has a negative experience and she hates the show. So I'm sure she
Yeah.
sees a lot as negative, and I get
Yeah.
it again.
I get it.
But it's
I get
like,
it.
come on, girl, choose your battles, because it's like that's not it.
Yeah, I think that she's pretty much like Andrea trying to take holds of the narrative and like explain her side. But unfortunately, like it doesn't matter what you say, people will still have an opinion of you, like take care of yourself best you can. Unfortunately, we talked about this already. I hope the show is doing something for all of them so that they can take care of their mental health. But altogether, it's bad. Like we talk about this a little bit in um I think during Aaron's interview. Oh, I forgot. We listened to Aaron's interview.
Oh
But
yeah,
in Aaron's interview, Nick talks about how most reality TV shows when they end versus when they air, there's a gap. But because Love Island happens in real time, the people when they come home are overwhelmed with all of the feedback versus if you came home, had a month or two to decompress and then were ready for the public eye.
yeah.
So it's kind of harder for them to process things, which I get, and I hope that everybody's taking care of themselves. But I think Daya was just trying to get her point across. But speaking on Ariana is not good because we're watching this because of Ariana. We love
Exactly.
her.
So it's
We
just
know her from Vanderpump Rules, and that's why we decided to watch Love Island.
yeah. So like we get it, but like relax, girl. Like
Relax.
Ariana's not the enemy. Trust us.
Yeah.
She's just
And
the
honestly,
host.
this segment about bombshells is stupid. Like, what's harder, bombshells or Casa? Like, I want the guys to break down. Like, let's just talk about Casa instead of just talking about bombshells. Like,
Well,
because
that part,
there's
we didn't
nothing we
even get
really want
into
to
any of
know.
the details really of Casa.
We didn't. They could have sat there and been like, okay, Kenny, walk me through. Why did you bring Catherine? Kordell, why did you bring Daya? Rob, why did you bring Daniela while Aaron did? Like
They
let's break it down.
barely touched on any of that,
I
if
don't
at
think they
all.
touched on it at all.
It was
Yeah.
like so many missed opportunities.
Yeah.
But Ariana does look us in the eye and says, "Be kind." And
And
like,
then Leah's
period.
like, if anybody is bullying anybody on my behalf,
I just want
I
it to
do
be
not
known.
co-sign it.
Don't
Don't do
spread
that.
hate. Even Rob, like, spare the man. Like,
Spare
period.
him.
And then this is where they kind of have like the sad Casa sisters circle at the end where they're like
I was like,
crying.
what the fuck is this?
And then Andrea's like an honorary Casa girl. And I'm like, this is a lot. But
It is
like
a
that's where I
lot.
felt bad. I'm like, they're literally showing them like in like a sister circle, just like talking about how much hate they're getting, and they're like sobbing. And I'm like, this is
No,
sad. Like production, y'all
it
better
is.
be like checking in on them and making sure they're okay.
And I'm like, I don't really, Brandon, what's the benefit of this edit? What's the benefit? Like, why? Why? Like,
I don't
Sierra
know.
sounds stupid. I'm sure she was really feeling emotional.
But they
But for
didn't
her to just
show
be
what
like,
she said.
well, they did. They said,
Well, they
Okay,
showed that
Andrea's
she was
like,
like, I don't even cry and I'm crying on TV, but they don't get into the specifically like
of
why she's
why she
crying.
said that.
That thing.
Yes.
It's like,
Yes. It's
okay,
like
but
you low-key showed her looking stupid with no context. And then it's like it was just like Andrea's like, I have good days and bad days. And Sierra's like, this is crazy because like this says a lot because I don't cry and I'm over here crying. And then Danielle is like, we should support each other. And then Sierra said, or this is when Sierra says she shouldn't cry. And I'm just like, this is weird. And then they just kind of hug, like, I love you guys. Yeah, I love you. Yeah. Like just a
someone
sad girl
said,
circle.
right? Someone said online that production was trying to make it seem like it's the cast fault for like them feeling away instead of and
Ah,
taking it off the show when really it's the show and like the social media response. That's what it is.
yeah, because if you let these people, if you let Daya like actually talk about the tweet, and if you let her talk about like how she was really feeling towards Kordell, this is why I liked him. And maybe even if Kordell was like, this is why I liked her. Same for like, if you kind of gave some more context and let them talk, that would go without saying instead of this
Right.
like weird thing. But yeah, no, the producers can never reflect and say the show did something wrong. So I get how they're trying to spin that.
Yeah, it's just it's a mess. And then
Yeah.
like I don't know. And then also because remember Daniela had that kind of like that emotional moment on TikTok where she was talking like pleading with people to be kind
Yeah.
and then Sierra
Yeah.
made some post like leaving New York after being traumatized. And then like everyone's like social media is like, they didn't even get it bad at the reunion. Why are they saying this? And I'm like, well, that's why, because you're literally on
Literally.
social media clowning them and hating on
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. No, it's bad.
So,
It's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You're never gonna win in the comments. And Brendan and I talked about this last episode. This is a show with people who we do not know. We don't get to see the whole story. There's a lot of things that are edited and construed in a certain way. We're commenting on our perspective as we see it. Obviously, we're not making conclusions about these people because we don't know them. So
yeah.
if you're coming here to find things to say in their comments, I do not support that. I do not support trolling. I'm never going to comment something negative. I literally will only hype people up. Like Serena was on the cover of Essence magazine,
Right.
and I was in the comments like, "That's my dog."
I think her
But
ad
that's
for
the only thing we
Beyonce's
do.
hair care line just dropped too on Instagram. I gotta go look
That's
at it. But I'm like,
amazing.
period.
No, support only. No trolling. Don't do it.
I love though the little thing where it was like, I got a text. And then it was a laugh and they were trying to act like, who could this be? And everyone's like, we know what Serena sounds like.
It's
Uh,
like her cracked voice. I don't even know how to recreate it. Her voice is so unique. Her laugh is everything.
I love it, but it's crazy because if you listen back to her first initial intro, her
Hmm.
voice changed. Maybe I don't know if being in the Fiji made it more raspy or something.
I thought she lost it at first, but then even during the Keke Palmer interview, it sounded like cracky
Y-
and hoarse. I think she's just having a grand
She's
old
probably,
time and is losing
yeah,
her voice.
I love it though. Her voice is
Me too.
amazing
It's
to me.
so she sounds like Pop
Um,
Smoke.
well, this is where we get to
Oh my God.
a very interesting moment.
Oh
Kaylor and
boy.
Aaron and Ariana's like, "How are y'all doing?" And they're like, "Well, we're not good. I'll have to say, I'll just say it. Like, I lied. I lied to Kayla. The thing is, like, yes, I put my hand down Daniela's pants. What? What? Wait, what? Why are you saying this now? I asked you 3 days ago. Why the fuck are you saying this now? Be fucking honest with me. Be fucking
Janae
honest."
Janae's in the corner. Jesus.
Like, oh my.
And then you see Leah, you see Leah and Serena, and they're both like they're like shocked but like laughing, and they both turn and look at Janae at like the same time. So you just see them both turn like kind of towards the camera, and they're just like, "What?" Brandon, when this happened, I was like, "Oh my!" I think I screamed again. I was like, "This is not real life."
No, it
Kaylor
was
is
crazy. She didn't cry.
She didn't cry, but homegirl is screaming at the top of her lungs. And again, I can just hear how quiet it is. Like she's going in on Aaron. Like, why did you lie? Why, Aaron? I was with you.
I can't
Oh,
believe I wasted my whole summer on you. Stop love bombing me. I fucking hate you. And then look, she said some real shit though. The
she
love
did.
bombing. I when she
Mm-hmm.
said I came into the villa a certain girl and you beat me
Mm.
down and I left completely different. And I'm like,
Whew.
facts.
Yeah.
It's
No,
true.
you gotta
And
let
like
that
he's
boy
just
know.
sitting there kind of taking it. She gets to a
Yeah.
point where she's like, I can't even sit next to you. Liv, will you switch? And she's like, of course. Well, she says it kind of funny. She
Yeah.
because she's so mad. She's like, can you switch me seats?
Yeah, she did say. I was like, Leah. And
Oh,
then she's like, Ariana, we were together here. We were together like 3 days ago, and he didn't say any of this. I think she could, I don't know if she could tell that it was like kind of quiet and a little awkward because Aaron's not saying
maybe. And then Aaron's like, I just didn't have the balls. And Liv's like, oh, cut the shit. When are your balls gonna drop? And this is where
She's
Leah
like, you've
has
been
her
saying that for
popcorn
months.
and she's like, and she's just like
Hmm.
cackling. And Miguel just has his head down, just like, oh my God. Oh,
Yeah. She's like, you don't deserve me. You never deserve me. Leave me alone. Do not talk to me. And she sits down and there's like scattered clapping. And Serena says, Queen girl, pussy boss. Queen girl, pussy boss. And everybody's like clapping. And I'm like, this
I
is.
that was amazing. You know what's
But again,
crazy
it's like
about this?
another. Oh,
Oh no, you
go
go.
ahead. Yeah. I
No,
was
you
just
can
gonna
go.
say it's another moment where it just feels like someone's being mean, but a little less because Aaron really did
Well,
show.
here's the
Aaron did his
thing.
big one.
It does, especially because he looks so beaten down and
He
sad.
looks,
And
yeah.
that's the thing that's like, I think it's probably because of a lot of social media hate. But
Oh
he
yeah.
did say on the Viall Files, where he also looked sad and cried like 8 times while Nick was maniacally smiling at him.
Hmm.
He was like, he made it seem like he could, like, he was fine with the hate at first. But
Yeah.
then when he noticed Kaylor was starting to change
Yeah.
because of it, it seemed like losing Kaylor like that is what's making him so sad, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
It is interesting because you really didn't care about her or her feelings when she was telling you what she needed, communicating her frustrations. Like you weren't like this, but maybe it's settling in how much he affected her and almost how much he like didn't listen
Yeah.
because he really had some blinders on too, like was not listening to Kaylor at all. Like just be honest with me. Doesn't be honest. Why did you wait until the reunion?
Well, he said too, that was wild that he waited till the reunion. But I was also like, Kaylor, did you not know that? Like, I feel like I don't know, but maybe that
She
wasn't
said
said
she
on the
washed
show.
she said she washed Casa. It was said during Casa.
That's what I thought too,
The
but
the second morning, I remember the girls were in the dressing room. It's the second morning or the next day of Casa. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, Aaron was trying to get in my pants."
yeah, maybe
And all
she
the girls
missed
were
that
like,
part.
"Oh, for real?" Yeah, she must have missed it. Or maybe never heard him say it. I don't know.
Maybe he just didn't admit it. But
Yeah.
then he said also in the Viall Files, he was like, I was proud of Kayla for finally popping off on me and doing that because she needed to do it. And I was like, that's bullshit because you had said on BFFs that you appreciated that she wasn't like Serena and throwing plates and popping off.
Yeah.
And you said multiple times, even during the Casa recoupling, that you were so proud of how she handled herself and that she didn't let her emotions take over or like pop off on him. So
Yeah, he's like changing his statement now.
bear
Like,
me.
yeah.
Um, and then his thing too, because she was like, even after all this, I still talked to you and texted you. And he's like,
Hmm.
that's not true. You actually didn't have my support and didn't have my back because when we did the BFFs podcast, 4 hours before, I told you how my granddad died that day, and you still didn't have my back on BFFs and you went off on me. And she was like, I literally texted you. I sent condolences to your family, and you can't expect me not to be honest with you when we're talking about it. which
Yeah.
facts because
Yeah.
did she clown him a little on BFFs? I think so, but the
It wasn't
Dave
as
went the
bad as
most in.
Dave did.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
She more was just talking about like what happened, and when he tried to make excuses, she was like, "No, you can't make that excuse." Like
Yeah.
she really was like, what was she supposed to do? Be like, "No, Aaron, like I forgive you after you like embarrassed me on TV."
Right. Yeah, we broke this down before. Go back and listen, but there was like the day where we were kind of reviewing a couple of different interviews. But yeah, basically they were on a podcast together. The host, Dave, was being very mean. I want to say
Yes,
mean
he
to both of
was.
them, honestly, questioning their relationship, saying Aaron's not genuine, Aaron's just trying to be famous, blah blah blah. So for him to kind of blame that on Kaylor, I think it's kind of crazy. There were points where Dave asked harsh questions, and Kaylor was like, "Thanks, Dave, but what do you want her to do?" And like, not that I'm blaming Aaron, but it's also like there's a lot there, Aaron. If you just had a death in the family, maybe don't go do the podcast.
That's what I was
Like,
thinking too. I was just like, I wouldn't have done it. But like, I mean, maybe you
right.
felt like you had to, which
Maybe you
okay.
felt like you had to, but like then maybe ask her ahead of time, like don't be mean to me. I don't know. And and so not to say that his feelings aren't valid, because yeah, that would be hard for anybody
Of
to experience
course.
a death and then you're basically going through a breakup and your partner's not having your back. But eh, yeah, it's because so they kind of go back and forth for a second, but ultimately he's like, I messed up. I did not treat her right. She, she deserves better. I was not good to her. And then Liv started arguing with him too.
She did. She was kind of chiming in, just having Kaylor's back. And he was like, "Can you stop shouting?" And she was just like, "Me stop shouting? What do you
Who
mean?"
are
And I was
you
like,
talking
"Liv,
to?
I love you." But I'm like, also just let them talk.
No, yeah, like I don't remember what she was. Oh, she was defending Kaylor when Aaron was like, "You didn't have my back."
She was, yes, which I get
Mm-hmm.
that. I do, because he was kind of trying
Yeah,
to like put it on her and like throw that at her. I did
yeah.
like too how Kaylor um mentioned in episode 6 how he freaked out when she kissed Hakeem in a
That was a
challenge.
very good
I was
point.
like,
I'm
okay,
glad.
Kaylor, snaps for
Taylor came with
you.
all the receipts. I feel like she really stood up for herself. And again, I feel like the production is really like letting the main cast be like, are the ones that are argumentative. But I feel like, especially in Kaylor's case, she put up with a lot with Aaron. And I'm glad that she spoke her piece. And maybe that's why he said that during the interview, but I'm really glad that she got to say what she wanted to say, because throughout Casa, he would love bomb her, gaslight her, like not listen to her throughout their time after
Yeah,
Casa. So I'm really glad that she finally spoke her piece.
agreed. I think it was all justified and like, it is what it is. I do feel
Yeah.
bad for him because he seems like he's going through a lot, and I can imagine it's just like a lot of like social media. Like this is just huge, but it is
Yeah.
also like you didn't feel bad when you were like embarrassing her on national television. So it's just kind of like I feel bad. I think social media is a lot, but it's also kind of like Kaylor should defend herself.
Yeah. Yeah, she should. I think that I was gonna say I kind of wish he went about a different way, but he revealed another lie and intentionally waited to reveal it. So
That's the
I don't know what
thing.
you were expecting her to do, like
Right.
calmly say, "Oh, Aaron, more
Thank you for letting me
information.
know this on the
This is so
spot.
bad. I'm so upset."
Right.
Calmly, like, how did you want her to talk to you?
He also said, because on the Viall Files, they were like, why did you keep lying to her? Or like, why didn't you just tell her? And he was like, I
Yeah.
remember when I was cheating on once, she told me she cheated, and I did not want to know like any other details or anything else. So with Kayla, I was just like, I'm not going to say everything. And it's like, okay, but when someone's asking you,
And you
and it's
just
clear they
don't.
want to know, and instead of being honest you get mad at them for asking. That's not you not telling them for that reason. That's you trying to get out of it and being emotionally manipulative.
I agree. I agree. Like
So
you're using that as your reason, but you're just not listening to that person or considering them. You're only thinking of
it's not a big
yourself.
deal, Kayla. It's not a big deal.
That's literally what he said to her
Who
the whole
cares if you
time in there.
showered? Who cares? We didn't
Yeah.
do it. It's just a joke. It's just a
I
joke.
was just joking. I was joking about the shower.
Play the
But
clip
yeah,
where it
his
wasn't a joke.
But his interview, he did a little interview with on the Viall Files, kind of like in the same setup as Nicole. And I feel like we kind of talked about the main points, but
Yeah, because it was shorter than Nicole's.
yeah, it was like 20 minutes, maybe 30, where they kind of just checked in. And Aaron did seem very down. He wasn't, I mean, I don't know what they expected him to behave like. Like, why would he be happy? A relationship just ended, you know?
Right.
And then he was like on the reunion and he said the reunion was rough for him. Um, because
Yeah.
yeah, I don't
And,
know. I don't
and it was also that bizarre setup where literally Nick did not stop smiling the
yeah, it
entire
was really
time.
weird.
Like Aaron would
Yeah.
cry and he's like, I see you're upset. I'm like, what talk show are you auditioning for? Um,
Literally.
but then too, there was just a video that dropped today. It was like a BuzzFeed one, and it was Aaron, Rob, Kenny, Janae, and Kordell, and they were reading like thirst tweets.
Hmm.
And Aaron like was clear he was miserable and didn't want to be there the entire time. He looked like borderline on the verge of tears. And
Oh,
literally every
really?
thirst tweet was low-key a jab. Like the first one was, I wish I can find a man to look at me the way Aaron looks at Rob. Th-
Um,
There was one calling him a queen. There's one saying like, y'all may hate him, but his reunion outfit ate. It was low-key like none of it was actually like good. And it was just
a
like, I feel
positive
kind of
tweet.
bad. I'm like, y'all didn't need to bring him here to read these passive aggressive tweets. Like, come on, y'all.
Yeah, I'm curious what's involved with all of these arrangements with interviews and appearances because it's like, do you have to be there? Because all signs point to Aaron, take a step back and go take care of yourself. You apologized. You were remorseful during the reunion. I mean, you just also kind of lied to her, like revealed a lie. So it's like you're kind of remorseful during the reunion. During the Viall Files interview, we really got to see how remorseful you are. Go take a break and like step away for a little bit. I
Yeah.
think I think that his response kind of surprises me because Aaron and the villa did not give a fuck about what Kaylor had to say at all, invalidated her feelings regularly. But now that they're broken up, you're sad. Like it's the guy who's like, yeah, go talk to other people. Yeah, this is just a situationship. I don't want anything serious. And then as soon as you do, they're like disheveled and can't get out of bed. It's like
Why the fuck
you're
would you do
actually
that?
right. It's like you act like you don't care, but you actually really do, and it's confusing. And I'm sure it was
Yeah.
confusing for Kaylor, and I bet that's why it felt like love bombing. Maybe there was I'm sure he was being genuine from how he's responding, but
I
it's
think
just
he liked
confusing.
her, but he was
I think
kind
he
of like
did.
a player and like he didn't respect her clearly.
Yeah.
So,
And I
and
think he always thought that he could get her back.
that's
Like
the
whatever he
thing. And
said,
she
she
always
would come back.
would. But now
She
she's
did.
like, no, she has her high
I'm done.
pony, her knockoff Ariana revenge dress. And she said, switch me
I'm done.
seats.
Switch
I
me
can't
seats.
sit next to him. Um,
Don't ever talk to me again. They
mm,
probably spoke that afternoon.
right. No, but she went on Chicks in the Office with Liv, and she mentioned that the days before the reunion, her and Aaron kept getting in fights. And I guess at one
Um,
point they got in a fight because Kane told Aaron that Kaylor did a lot with one of the guys in Casa, whoever she like kissed that one time in a challenge.
oh, Jacoby or
Jacob,
something.
Jacoby, something like that. And she
Hmm.
was just like, no, I fucking did it. I don't know why I'm wasting my time on you when there's so many boys in my DMs. Like she was like popping off on him apparently. It was
Oh
apparently at like
God.
4 a.m. like in front of McDonald's
Yeah.
or 7-Eleven. It sounded funny. But he also released a TikTok where he was like with his mom and he gave a voiceover where he said something like, I'm going through a lot right now, but I can't really get into it or else I'll get sued. Like something to that effect, which made it
Oh,
sound like it was like the show. He's
yeah,
also
maybe.
alluded to the show being not the best experience, like maybe with production.
Yeah, he kind of said that on the Viall Files too. I feel like, I feel like this is just a really good example of like some relationships are not worth saving, and the more you try, the harder it becomes for you personally.
Yeah.
Like the point where it's like you guys can't be in a room and you're just arguing and fighting, it's like you should have let it go a week ago, you know? Like
Yeah.
I'm sure it's even harder for him because of just like how long they were in it and how much they got into it, you know? And honestly, I'm sure that I wonder if he's doing some self-reflection. Like that would make me sad to see myself back in a way that I never thought I was. Like
Yeah.
that could probably be like disorienting. Like I act like that. Dang. Like when somebody tells you how you hurt their feelings and you're like, I did? You know, but now
Yeah.
everyone in America is telling you that, you know, so I can only imagine. Like I don't think that Aaron, I think that Aaron is genuinely sorry. I hope that Aaron is genuinely sorry, and I think he is from how he's acting now and from the interview. But I ultimately hope that he can like take some time to take care of himself because that's a lot. Like, you know, you
Yeah.
seeing yourself in a way that you don't like. It's weird because even in the villa, when his parents came to visit, he was like, I feel like they're not telling me the truth. It's like he knew it was coming
Yeah.
off bad.
He's 27 too. I just hope this gives him some
Is he?
emotional maturity.
Yeah. No, I'm sure I know I'm sure he's a great guy. I think that he just needs to learn how to take responsibility for things and not make excuses for his behavior, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, so that was Kaylor and Aaron. They're done,
They're
much like
donezo.
Kendall and Nicole.
It's
Um,
crazy. Dropping like flies.
but as they go and go into the air like burning fire, just like explosion, we get shown the fire pit scene,
Mm-hmm.
unedited.
Unedited.
And so it was interesting. I mean, here's the thing, I would have appreciated it if it was there was like a lot more reunion after, but there wasn't.
Nope.
What were your thoughts with this whole thing?
Um, it was a lot to take in.
It was.
I only have a couple moments that stood out. The immediate, all of them getting choked up.
They're like,
I
we
watched
can't,
it again today. No, Liv is like, first off, we can't get rid of Janae, and Leah's like, we can't,
we
and
can't.
Serena's like, we can't. Kayla's
Like,
like, she's our girl, and we love her,
I'm like,
and then she's like, okay,
period.
but down to business, and they're all like, okay.
Okay, so Nicole or Andrea. Um, yeah, that was beautiful. I love that moment.
That was so Serena. Serena doesn't cry. Okay.
No.
So when she does, and Leah really doesn't cry either. So when I saw them instantly get choked up over Janae, I started tearing up. I was like, oh my gosh, you guys love her. Even Kaylor was like, no,
And
we
that's to all the
can't.
people who try to act like Leah doesn't love Janae. But anyways,
Yeah. Anyways, so the thing I wish they had broke this down, like had the cast talk about it, because as soon as Leah said brand deals, I feel like that's all she needed to say. She was basically like, she doesn't feel like Andrea's there for the right reasons. She was
uh-huh.
talking about brand deals and how they'll get tables at restaurants or something and like
Bottle
opportunities,
service.
bottle service. And she just didn't feel like Andrea was there for the right reasons. I would love for them to have let Andrea speak on that. Like, why did she do that? But
Yeah,
that would have been really good to know after this.
right.
This should have been like first. Let's watch the fire pit, you know?
A pause and watch, a people's couch.
Exactly. To actually break it down. So that stood out to me. But honestly, they just went back and forth. Liv was kind of the moderator, and she was like, let's have our reasons for why they should stay and why they should go. And they were all mostly just thinking about Nicole, Miguel, and Kendall. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
Nicole, or they were saying Miguel just got here. Nicole's getting to know him. She also likes Kendall. They just kissed. We have to keep this in mind. And we think that she's more open to the experience than Andrea. Liv was kind of on the other side of it.
She was. Essentially, Nicole had a more interest, like just thinking, even producer thinking, and as a viewer, Nicole has a more interesting storyline, whereas Andrea is like hit and end quickly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, let's think of it that way. I
Mm-hmm.
think too, So Liv talked more than anyone.
She did. And then Leah kind of talked the next most.
Leah talked the second most, which, okay.
Yes.
So Leah definitely didn't. I don't think Leah took a back seat. I would like to go on record and say we never cared whether or not she took a back seat.
That wasn't the point. Honestly, you're right. Because even this whole conversation distracts from what we do talk about later, which I appreciate, is that Leah said, I tried to take a back seat,
Yeah.
Rob,
And I
and Rob
heard
turned it into something else.
that's the thing. Rob's really the villain here.
Yes.
Remember that. But two, because I think I saw maybe it was on TikTok or maybe it was on YouTube. They were playing like the moment where it was Liv and Rob versus Leah at the fire pit about the comment. And Leah said something like, no, I said I tried to take a back seat with the whole thing. Like, I think what she meant to Rob when she said that was again
Mhm.
tried, but also like just in general with the whole Rob and Andrea situation, like she didn't want to get involved with it at all, which
Yeah.
in that respect, valid. When it
Yeah.
came to this decision, it was mostly her kind of just being pro Nicole and
Yes.
not wanting Nicole to leave. She said her things, she was vocal, she was,
Yeah.
I think, adamant, but I also think she said the backseat comment to Rob, like, I don't think it was meant to be as big of a deal. Like, I think she was just trying to tell Rob, like, I didn't get rid of Andrea to spite
I'm not
you.
out to get you. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
And she said that, like, oh, I tried to take a back seat, like I wasn't like whatever. I think she was
Yeah.
just saying that to Rob, and then Rob took it and ran, told it to
Yeah.
Liv. Liv and Kaylor, like, what the fuck? She definitely said shit.
Yeah.
Like, so she trying to throw us under the bus. And then so that's where, and after this, Liv does apologize and she's like, I should have went to you to clarify. And they were like, yeah, but it's fine. Like, I love you. Um, but yeah, because really it was just like Leah was talking a lot about being pro Nicole. She's like, she shouldn't leave because she's doing the experience right. Whereas, Andrea
Yeah.
is like,
Yeah.
she like loves
And
Rob. And she's like, I get it, but
yeah, no, I feel like they would talk and then they would get there. It was twice or maybe even three times they got to this point where they were just like, fuck, this sucks. Like, it was a lot of things were said, but I think it was clear that they didn't want to make this decision. They felt bad about this decision, did not happily send Andrea out. And they weighed it well, I think. Like, Liv said a great points, Leah said great points. Kaylor and Serena were kind of adding their comments. And based on that, Serena, Kaylor, and Leah decided Andrea. So it's like you can't even say that she pulled it a certain way or whatever, because with all the information in front of them, those three girls chose her. So, and
yeah.
that's how they felt. That's how the conversation went. And we're so chucked up about it that they asked for additional time. Production was like, guys, we got shit to do. Can you pick one of these
Yeah, I didn't like that
people to
producer.
send?
They were like, we need your help. And she's like, yeah, these are people's lives, like in their emotions. And she's like, well, you guys have to make the decision. And that's where I'm
Mm-hmm.
like,
I'm
it's
glad they
like
said the whole thing.
Leah they're trying to, or I don't know who they are. I mean, Aaron, slightly production, maybe, whoever,
Mm-hmm.
trying to vilify Leah for making a decision she didn't want to make. They had to make it. No one wanted to.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't going to get rid of Janae, and I'm glad they didn't because we love Janae. And also, we wouldn't have gotten Janae and Kenny had
Right.
she left. So it was meant to be. And I get it.
Yeah.
Nicole had more shit going on. Andrea was a bore, like on the show. Like she just wasn't
Yeah.
dynamic. And it is what it
Yeah.
is. She was just like
Yeah.
quiet with Rob. So like
Yeah.
nice girl, but just like your time's up. And that's fine.
Exactly. And Liv advocated for her. She was like, but you can't also fault somebody for finding somebody right away.
Yeah.
And and so they talked about it. They waited out and ultimately it was Andrea. And I'm glad I mean, I don't this part felt unnecessary because like we really didn't get much of anything from it. I feel like they could have had more discussions. Like Andrea, Did anything stick out to you? How do you feel about it? Leah, like, do you remember how hard it was? Or like, I saw you guys get emotional at first and you asked for more time. Like, what was going through your head? Put it on them. What let us see the human side of it instead of like all the nonsense. Because and after this, Leah kind of like gets on Aaron for talking shit about her, basically. But I really am again, I mean, volume, like you don't have to scream at the boy. But I'm glad that
I
she
loved
said
it.
something. I'm glad that she said something because she, from our perspective, from we didn't see this, but she explained later that the boys really made her feel bad for a while, would bring it up. Like Leah was literally traumatized by this whole fire pit situation for the rest of her time in the villa. Just felt like everybody blamed her. Everybody blamed her about Rob crying. Everybody blamed her about the fire pit. And now she had her chance to say what she really felt. And I'm glad she did.
Yeah, because if we remember, Aaron freaked out the most. He
Yep.
yelled at the girls.
He yelled at all of
So
them,
after
called them
the
stupid.
yes, because after they play this scene, they kind of like Ariana is like, "Do you guys see how like advocating for Nicole is like voting against Andrea?" And
Hmm.
Leah's like, "Yeah, I guess, but like I didn't want to send any of them home. Like I liked Andrea. Like it is what it is." And it's
Yeah.
like facts, and that's where Liv kind of apologizes, and then Janae. Aaron, do you want to apologize to the girls for calling them stupid because they didn't get rid of the obvious choice, which was Janae? And that's where he's like, yeah, I guess I can. Yeah, well, the thing is, like, I just thought because the other girls were in relationships and you weren't, I thought you should have gone home. And I'm like, okay, well, based on that basic logic, that's not illogical, but
How
it's
you went
also
about it.
that's the thing. And then
Hmm.
that's where Leah was like, you went and told everybody about it after. Like, and he did. He freaked out at the villa. Afterwards, he was saying, I feel like they just don't want to see Rob happy. I feel like Liv and Leah like did this to get back at Rob. The next day, he was questioning Leah, where Leah came forward about all the said stuff she said about
Hmm.
Andrea. She mentioned the there for the right reasons. I don't know if she
Yeah.
mentioned the closed off part, but maybe she did
Hmm.
and they just didn't show it because she says she did. So is no one denied that. So then he would go around, and then after she spoke to Rob, he went to Aaron, and then he was cheering on Liv for going off on Leah about it. So
Yep.
that's why Leah was just like, I don't understand. Like, you were freaking out the most. Like, are you just a gossiper? Are you a bitch? Like, I don't know. And I'm like,
Oh.
I was like, that was funny.
And they really made him look like the boy
He
who
did the
lived.
Rob eye roll. He did the
He did. Oh, he did. I didn't even see that. But it's just like if this was a true two-part good reunion, you could show the clip of Aaron behaving like that. Give us remind us, give us some context, and then let her speak her piece. The bitch comments just like, damn, I feel like I don't know if they saw how maybe in person Aaron did not look as sad and forlorn as he did to us because after seeing someone look like that, I wouldn't say anything on them, but hey, to each his own. Because Leah also said on social media that they all left in good terms, right?
I think so.
Or
So
at
like
least to
I'm
her.
assuming that includes Aaron, but I
Yeah.
don't know. But then she also goes off on Rob because she's like, yeah, Rob, and by the fucking way, I told you I tried to take a backseat. Keyword try, like listening is important. Like, wake the fuck up, right? Okay, so maybe pay the fuck attention when I tell you something. I'm
Yeah,
like,
she
period,
went
period, period.
in.
Go off on
And Liv was
him.
like, yeah, when you came to me, you didn't say try. That's a key word, Rob. Like Liv was letting him have it too. And then Rob was like, can you guys like stop yelling? And then I'll explain.
And it's like
And
he
he did.
barely explains. He's like,
Yeah.
you're right. I shouldn't have. He's like, ugh.
Yeah. I was like, can it's just annoying too because when he left and he was doing his initial interviews, Rob was really standing 10 toes down on his behavior. Like he was like, I regret like hurting people, but it's just very vague. And it's like, I think in those instances, you kind of need to be specific when it, involves somebody else.
Right. And also like I don't know, because she even Leah then clarifies, she's like, I would never get rid of someone to like get Rob. Like, I'm not gonna be someone's second choice. Because I think that
Yeah.
was kind of the narrative and what she was annoyed about with the guys, with probably the show and production, that it was just like, y'all are making it seem like I'm sending Andrea home so I can get with Rob, but I would never do that.
Yeah.
So like fuck off.
Yeah. I did think in that moment though, in the recording was a little cringy when poor sweet Kaylor's like, yeah, and Rob always has Leah here, who, and they will always have a connection. And Leah's like, thanks, Kaylor, that's really
That's
sweet.
sweet.
And she like perked up and smiled for a little bit.
Uh, it was just
Had they had more time, I feel like they would have been sobbing about Janae for 5 minutes, and then they would have got like collected their thoughts and then like had a conversation.
yes. But again, ultimately, we're on record on this podcast. We didn't care how much involvement Leah had, and we thought it was the right decision.
No, that whole backseat bullshit was a big misunderstanding created by Rob, who was playing a bad game of telephone and didn't
Hmm.
own it even at the end, freaking telling Leah to wake up. How Rob yelled at her was so bad. So I'm glad that she called him out too.
Wake the fuck up.
That's so
Um,
mean.
yeah. So that was pretty much like the last segment, and then they just kind of did like closing thoughts.
Yeah. And
And then
when it was wrapping up, I was like, there's no time left. Is there gonna be a part two? Because I really thought that like they didn't really discuss a whole lot.
they didn't discuss Rob's swimming routine.
Nope.
They didn't discuss Casa, as we said, nearly in depth.
They barely let us get to know Leah and Miguel. Like, why do you guys like each other? Like, Kordell and
Yeah.
Serena didn't hear a lot about them.
We didn't really all we got from Connor is that he likes the bros.
Yeah.
And it's like,
They wanted to have a
okay.
conversation about microaggressions that didn't really happen. Well, we can talk about that next.
Right. And like Janae even manifesting Kenny, like that backstory,
Oh, that's
like
cute. Yeah.
we got like nothing.
Honestly, I kind of wish they would have asked Hakeem why you yell at women so easily.
He said nothing. I was
He
like,
said
why
nothing.
is he here?
He didn't even make it to the pizza segment. I don't think Nigel said anything either.
No, he just commented on the boneless wings and the
Yeah.
pizza with Cassie and Cassidy.
Yeah. And like everybody could have had a moment to like if they done two parts, everybody could have had a little bit of a even if it was a 1 minute BS thing because you did that here anyway. Like Cassidy, like oh, we saw you kind of confront Leah when you went home and the girls could have been like, "Girl, yeah, I think like it was just the heat of the moment. We wish she would have stood behind you." Something
Yeah.
like we could have done a little bit of something for everyone.
Right. They didn't even address them or even Nigel's tweets to his girl or text to the girlfriend that got
Mm.
exposed.
You're right. Didn't talk about that. I feel like there was the only oh, and then they wanted Janae to address Connor for some people online wanted Janae to
Yeah.
address Connor. I don't really know why.
She said he lied about her in some videos, like post the show. I think there was one
Oh,
game he played with Selly where he called her like the meanest or the fakest, something like that.
oh wow.
So she was ready, and she did say he never apologized to her, so they didn't have their moment. But
Yeah, I think that would have been good. So like we could have gotten more from here, but sadly we didn't. Janae left us with some wise words. Can't really remember, but do you remember?
always be a girl's girl, and I don't remember the rest. Be
I was like,
kind.
always be a girl's girl. Something about mind your business. Something like
And mind your
something to the
business.
effect of like, stop talking about people and always do your best or something
Did
like
you
that. And I
see
was
the
like,
TikTok with Janae and Serena where it's like the voiceover and it's like, yeah, motherfucker. And then it's just like, no,
no.
it's literally like this voiceover that's like the perfect one because Serena's in the front and it's just like, and then you go, what she said. And it's like her like hyping her up, being like, "No, you are a bad bitch. Say it with attitude." And she's like, "Yeah, motherfucker." And it low-key sounds like them too. It's the funniest thing.
I love
It's
it.
amazing.
No, they're great. I like how they each have their own personality, but they accept each other. Cause like,
Period.
if we're going back to middle school days, it's like, oh, Janae talks like that. Nah, they love her. They love her. We love Janae. You would pick the gabber to leave us with some closing
Right.
thoughts.
The yappy Janae, we love you.
He's so funny.
uh,
Always do your best and eat your vegetables.
and pop off and always wear a gray gown.
Mhm.
Always look beat. And
There
then,
were there were a few side moments. Did you see when Janae was like, "Oh my gosh, Kenny, you look so good, and your hand on my lap is keeping me warm," and he's just like, he's just like nodding. He didn't say anything back to her. He was just nodding. And then there's a segment where like Leah and Miguel are like laughing at each other when they break for something.
oh yeah.
Um, we could have even got Miguel talking about like how he accepted Leah despite the fact that she can be argumentative.
They paid Miguel dust. People on social media were saying that too. I'm like,
No, for
he's like,
real.
I guess they just didn't expect me to be how I was or
Yeah.
something. And it's like
They
they
left him
didn't.
out of the story. And I
Mm.
would have like the deleted footage of him like making up to her when he told me like he did something and it offended her and he did something to like make up to her
Oh
like
yeah.
breakfast on the lawn or
They
dinner
didn't
on the
address
lawn or
that.
something.
Mm-mm.
A lot was left out, but the final thing, Keke Palmer has a podcast and
Love
I did
her.
not know about it. I'm very ashamed and I
I knew
followed
about it.
immediately. I did not. Keke Palmer is literally the best. Granted, she kind of cut off Kordell a little bit, but she interviewed Kordell and Serena. Kordell is a man of few words, so easy
He
to cut
is.
him off.
It is. It's like, oh, you're talking.
Right. Oh, Kordell, what'd you say? And so they did a podcast together. Do you want to just kind of go over highlights?
Sure, let's do that. Did you write them down? I didn't write any down, so I'm just
I
going off memory.
did.
All right, let's go off your
I
notes.
Okay, bet. So the first thing they talked about was the dance floor game. And Keke was saying that she was about to jump through the TV because why did they do that during the dance floor game? And both of them are basically saying that they feel like they got two different instructions.
They were like, production told us two different things because Serena said she was told, like, oh, just if you're not closed off, which the only couple that was closed off really was Kaylor and Aaron. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna, and her and I guess Kordell had talked about being open still. So she's like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stay on the dance floor. We're both gonna go off it. But then
Right.
Kordell was told, if you're happy, stay, but still open, stay on the dance floor.
That's what he thought. He was like, I think that's what they said. I'm like, I love how
Mhm.
he's still not sure. But that would make sense because it was so like off,
That
you
explains
know?
why some people it felt like they took the game differently.
Right.
Because
And
we
I
were even
would
saying
not
that
be
before. We were just like, something feels like they understood it differently.
yeah, because this was like I think a little bit maybe the night before or the day before a full day before Casa. This is happening in the evening. And I remember like a lot of them were on good terms, but still switched.
Yeah.
Like the same thing happened with Kendall Nicole, and Kendall was like, "Why is she mad? I left," you know.
Yeah.
So I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if they did get different instructions. So she was like talking to them about that. They also talked about a lot of moments that we didn't see, like they exchanged rings at one point,
Oh, yes. I
which
think
I
they
thought was really cute.
did. Was it after the dance game or was it after one of the recouplings? After something like that.
Yeah, after like a moment where they kind of were choosing, I want to say it was the dance floor game because Serena was like, they also didn't show how after the dance floor game we had a long talk.
Yeah.
But yeah, they like exchanged rings, kind of like a cute little like not like a promise, like a deep like oh I'm gonna marry you kind of
But
thing,
like,
but just
you have a
like a
part of me.
you have a
Cordell's a
part of me. This is your
romantic.
ring. He is. Because remember in Casa, he kept talking about the rings, and I was like, when did that happen? Um, And then she was talking about how her default is to not trust men. She just has like a bad past, and that's why at first she really wasn't feeling him and it took her some time.
Hmm.
Um then she did ask him about Casa. Like, why did you choose Daya? And he's just like, like I was in Casa and I just fucked up. And she's like, yeah, but like, what was your mindset? Take me through, say more words.
Right?
And he's like, I folded. Like, she was pursuing me and I folded. And I knew I was wrong when I saw her. He did start speaking more. He's like, when I saw her when I came back to Casa with Daya and I saw her standing by herself, I remembered like all of the memories I had with her and like how much I liked her. And so he kind of like spoke about, and I was like, dang, Kordell, like
All right.
I kind of wish he said more, but like I like being walked through his mindset because for real, you walked back after Casa with your head down, like you're not gonna
Immediately.
you're not gonna stand on it at all. It's crazy. We did talk about how she spoke for 45 minutes
Like,
before. So her whole speech to Kordell was actually 45 minutes long, but she said she blacked out. Can you believe that?
I, yeah, but that's like wild that it was 45 minutes. That's crazy. Please give us all that unedited again, please. We
Please.
have to
Oh my
see it.
gosh. Bonus footage, please. That would be amazing. Can you imagine being Daya just standing there for 45 minutes next to Kordell
Well, I
while
remember
he
she
gets
said,
chewed alive?
right. And I remember she said in some interview, maybe a couple weeks ago, that I guess when Dea and Cordell were sitting down, she
Mhm.
said, hope you can do hair today.
Yeah, they talked about it during this. So she had been doing his hair the whole time in the villa.
Yeah,
They just never showed it. She was like, I don't know, like maybe they didn't want to show us like getting closer to each other, but they didn't show that. Um, she talked about blacking out, which I think is crazy because she said amazing things.
she did. She's a poet.
She's a poet. She's great. Um, they didn't show he said that they didn't show moments where he had stuck up with for her, which I feel like would have been good to see.
Yeah, I feel like they showed a couple, but maybe not as much. Like, because they were talking about like the comment where it was like, is that how you want your wife to behave?
Yes.
And then he was like, well, like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, like, just because you get in an argument, are you just gonna leave when like you're married? Like, what are you talking about?
Even the statement itself is stupid, but Serena was
Hmm.
mad. She was like, not this microaggression. Like, Kaylor cries every day. Leah and Liv yell at people. I get upset, and you first thing is to say, is that how you want your wife to act? Like,
Hmm.
that's crazy.
It is.
Um, and she didn't address it specifically, but Keke kind of mentioned, like, she was like, and Kendall, I know y'all was getting tired of him. And and Serena was like, uh-huh, we were.
Mhm.
That's his friend, but not
Yeah.
my
I
friend.
learned he didn't really care about me as much as he cared about Cordell, and I'm like, period.
Hmm. Yeah, she's like,
And that's the
when your
truth.
man has friends, they're not really your friends. They're not loyal to you. So that made sense. Oh, and she even highlighted how Aaron was screaming and crying. And I'm like, the boys, the girls got to act a fool. But when Serena does it, it's a question of like, is that how a
It's like,
person should
oh,
act?
this is too much. Like, why is
This
she
is
being so immature?
She has
It's
gone
like
too far.
she actually has a legit reason to be upset, whereas y'all didn't really. But okay.
Literally, she got a whole video of her man doing humping this girl in bed,
Dry
and you
humping
want
in
her
the
to be
bed.
dry humping. You made your bed, humping it.
What's that smell? It smells like bitch. Oh, I love her.
um, oh, another thing she asked is like, why did you guys let Liv off the hook so soon?
Oh yeah.
Because when the girls kind of had their falling out about the back seat conversation, she was
Hmm.
like, it seems like you just kind of let it go. And do you remember? Oh yeah, she was just like, oh, we didn't know about the conversation where she was talking to Rob and Aaron saying that we swayed the vote. We didn't know about that, or we
Yeah.
probably would have been more upset.
Hmm.
And then they just talked about how they were, like their
Yeah,
relationship, which is what I would love to know on the freaking reunion.
I know,
She's
right?
like, they played games, they played tag, they would dance together. Like, so they sound like two little kids.
We would wrestle.
She did say that. Frolicking in the villa. Um,
I love it. I need them to get their own show.
no, for
I
real.
need
Like,
PPG and their men. Oh
but
my gosh,
Serena's
that's the
like
show title. PPG
PPG and
and
the
their
men.
men.
Unfortunately, Serena's done. She's like, I'm good on TV. Y'all got me bent.
She's too real.
She is. Like, not you, like, kind of having the most success and being like, I'm good. I don't care
She's
about
like,
this
I'll do these
50K.
brand deals, I'll get into fashion, but TV,
No more. Then the other thing was she was like, I don't know why the people in Casa are acting so traumatized.
they were like, what did you expect us to do? Give you a hug? Cook you some food?
Cook you dinner.
Like, it is what it is. And I'm like, at the end of the day, right, like, what were they supposed to do?
Right. Because I think Aaron was like, go say hi. And she's like, I'm not talking to those
I'm not talking to
hoes.
those hoes.
She's like, it took like a day and then we were good. It was
Yeah,
fine. But I wasn't gonna just welcome them with open arms.
right.
Um, but yeah, and then they just gave us, she's like, PPG was very cute and very mindful at the reunion. And I was like, were you?
Not no.
But maybe they were and we didn't see it because of course, we didn't see everything.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I barely heard from Serena during the reunion.
Yeah, she didn't say much. She was very demure,
Yeah.
very mindful.
It was mostly Leah, Janae, and
And they
Liv.
probably showed like the few moments they were speaking up because that's how it
Right.
goes. So
Right. And then she's just saying that Janae didn't let anyone lie. But this is a little recap. I was laughing so hard during this freaking interview. The
it was a
energy
good
was
one.
amazing. It's really good. Kordell is a man of few words, but it was still cool to see his personality. And he was just cute. He was like, y'all are gonna see. I'm gonna spoil this girl. Like, I'm down bad. Like, I
I
really
got
care
her.
about her.
Yeah.
I got her. Y'all about to see. And Keke was just like, and Keke is kind of in the best way like Nick Viall in that she will say like, yeah, in relationships are like this. Like she'll give her opinion, but I actually value her opinion.
She makes sense. She's funny. We love Keke,
We love
not Nick.
Keke. Yes.
But
So
yes.
go support her pod, but
Yes.
that
Oh
was
my
it,
gosh.
Brandon.
That was. This is a long
Is
ass episode. You're welcome, y'all.
is season 6 over, Brandon? I think it's officially over.
I think it is, which is kind of sad. Um, I will say, because Kaylor said on Chicks in the Office, they Peacock filmed her watching Casa Amor.
What?
Like they went to her home. And then I think Nicole, she said on Viall Files, Peacock filmed a little after. I
She did
think
say that.
they filmed Janae and Kenny becoming official, and they showed like a little snippet of that at the reunion.
All right, let's see what they're
I'm
gonna do.
curious if there's going to be something with like extra footage or just like what are they doing now or like look at this reaction. So maybe it's not completely over, but for the most part
Yeah,
it's over.
they would be
Um
stupid to just let this season go. I would get all the bonus. Like, I don't know why you didn't want a 2-day reunion, or a
right.
2-episode reunion. Like, use this. It's
Dude, we get
it's
so
better
many
for you.
streams. Like
Hmm
what are we doing?
This show has been the top, like one of the top 5 on Peacock for since it aired. Like, it's still
Yeah,
up there.
it's probably number
So,
one.
yeah, it's doing really well. So they would be silly not to keep it up.
They would be. Also, Ariana looked like a Barbie at the reunion. I forgot to say that, but she looked so
She
good.
did.
And I loved her red
Well,
dress.
me too. She ate. She ate. This was
Um,
overall, I've had so much fun getting to know these people. I've had so much fun reviewing this show. I'm ultimately hoping that everybody can heal and rest and move on. Maybe things can die down a little bit, but I definitely still want to see our faves.
I agree. And
Even
look,
Kaylor.
Even, I'll see
Kaylor
Kaylor
stood on business. I'm cool with this high pony. What do you call it? Half up, half down, slick
high
to the back.
pony.
Kaylor, high pony.
Slick
This
to
is
the
Kaylor with her
back.
hair up.
Up
Kaylor with her hair up
and
is
tight
different.
and tight. It's like Needy when she's like her bob goes like this. Well, apparently her and Liv are moving in together, so they're gonna be posting content. They're all
Wait,
posting TikToks and stuff, so they're not going anywhere as far as
oh,
that.
Liv's moving to the US?
She is.
I'm here for it. Let's
I
get
am
it.
too.
Go to
So,
LA. Then all of y'all could be together and have sleepovers at Leah's house.
right. And let's be real, there's going to be more interviews. So, this
Yeah.
is definitely not going to be the last time we talk about these people. But I guess officially this season is over. So, that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's been so
Mm-hmm.
much fun. I didn't expect to love Love Island
I
this much.
know.
We came for
Yeah.
Ariana, we stayed for PPG, and
And we're
all in
still
all,
here.
everything was great.
Yeah. Now we're talking about Sally and Justine. That'll continue soon.
Yes,
But
we're going over season 2.
yeah. Thanks for joining us for this ride. It's been fun.
Yes.
I've literally lost sleep over this show and I'm not mad at it. No regrets.
No regrets at all. As we go
Oh,
on,
that's why you were singing the
we
graduation song. I was just all confused because you had the crown on your head. I was like, I'm not sure. But go ahead, Brandon. That's an amazing closing song.
And that's what we call bringing it back full circle. On that note, y'all, with that being said, thank you so much for listening.
Thank
Make
you.
sure to give us 5 stars on
5.
Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave us a
Mm-hmm.
review on Apple Podcasts. Follow
Mm-hmm.
us on Instagram at the Shade of It All Pod. We'll post one day. And TikTok at the Shade of It All Podcast. We're posting clips. And if you want to see our beautiful faces instead of just listening, you can go to our
Mm-hmm.
YouTube channel and subscribe at the Shade of It All Podcast. And we'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.